Microphone, he's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he.
Chris talked about this before. Let me give this a run.
I don't think it's going to be on TV anytime soon.
Probably not. So the odds of me seeing it are low. You've seen a lot of Nicolas Cage movies.
I have. Every type of Nicolas Cage movie.
Why? I have no problem actually with Nicolas Cage, but it seems like I don't know that you have a fascination with, but I think you might.
Man, I've never even thought about it. Well, he just like makes movies I want to see, and a lot of them are crazy. I think it started with The Rock. I love The Rock. That was one of my favorite movies growing up.
Good speed.
Good speed.
I like The Rock too. I remember that when I saw it. That one, I'm guessing. I feel like I saw it in the theater, and then I have two much younger brothers, and it would have been one of those things where it was on, or maybe to this point where maybe we rented it, and my dad and my stepmom are like, I think my stepmom even asked, like, is this okay for the boy? I'm like, oh yeah, it's fine. And then as it's going on, I'm like, I didn't
very beginning.
What's that?
The very beginning.
Okay, now remind me what happens.
On top of the building, him and his girlfriend, soon to be fiance.
I think there's that. Maybe, there was just a few things. I'm like, oh, I think it's okay. We ended up watching it, but
I remember specifically where I was. I remember like the whole day. I don't know why. I think my dad had to work, and I was at some church picnic with my mom. And I'm just like, it's, when you're a kid and you're like waiting for something, and it's just the longest time ever.
Yes. Like, time can't go fast enough when you're a kid.
Come on. And my mom's like being helpful. Why don't you go help someone with this to take your mind off? I was like, okay. But I'm just like, and then like I saw my dad pull up, and I just like sprinted.
Yeah, we should monitor. I don't know Nick Cage's IMDb, but I bet you think you've seen 75% or more.
Oh, no.
No?
I saw someone, one of the guys on a podcast I listen to, his big thing is keeping on to physical media. So he's got his like DVD, he's got like a DVD case for Nicolas Cage. And he's like, I only have 63 of Nicolas Cage's movies.
Only?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize he's made that many.
Yeah. He's like 5 a year, I think.
Okay, I'm looking at his most recent. I'm not on a good run here lately for Nicolas Cage. I'm just going to look at what I see here from 2020 to now.
Okay.
And you tell me how you do. Long Legs.
Saw it.
The Surfer.
Never heard of it.
It may not be out yet. Arcadian.
Have not heard of
These
it.
are 2024, so not sure if they've been out. So one of three. The Retirement Plan.
Nope.
Dream Scenario.
Yes.
Sympathy for the Devil.
No.
The Flash.
Yes.
Wow. Renfield?
No.
The Old Way,
No.
Butcher's Crossing.
No.
I know you saw this. I think you did. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yeah.
Pig.
Yes.
Willy's Wonderland.
No.
Prisoners of the Ghostland.
No.
And The Croods: A New Age.
No.
Okay.
So 5.
5. I mean, you're 5 more than I am. Wow. Okay. But still, that's high praise.
That's high praise. How am I not in that movie?
Oh, so good. That was such a good bit on SNL. Andy Samberg. Hey, by the way, where did that text thread come up from you and me and Sean last night?
What? Oh, I somehow got in a Will Forte rabbit hole on YouTube.
Oh, okay. And then you sent that out, and then yeah.
Carol, hold my calls.
Oh goodness. We look.
I was listening to it's the Lonely Island podcast, but they did a MacGruber special to everyone that came up with MacGruber, like him and his writing partner.
Yeah.
And so then they were talking about other sketches that they did. So that got me into looking up his old sketches, and he's just amazing.
Will Forte or Will Ferrell?
Will Forte.
Yeah, both. Both are. I mean, I think most people consider.
I think they're both good at the same thing of just taking something that is very normal and boring and make them hilarious.
Yeah, I almost feel like that's their rush. It's like, give me the most, okay, that kind of script or this sketch concept, I can punch it up and let me do it in my way. Otherwise, this is just not that funny.
Yeah, I almost suggest you haven't listened to the podcast. I would suggest listening to it because they talk a lot about him and Seth Meyers and him trying to get his sketch on the show and talking to Seth Meyers. And it's a lot of, I'm trying to think of the line that he said. He said he kept on bringing one sketch to the table and he goes, so then his writing partner was asking Seth about it. Like, hey, he wants to do this again. He's like, I don't know. I kind of flatlined on the table last time. He said he heard him walking down the hall, then heard Will Forte's angry steps to his office, and then he just walks in. Flatlined? What are you talking about?
I would say Will Forte, one of the things that I could tell as a Will Forte sketch is he will, if the joke, whatever the joke might be, he might repeat and then repeat and then repeat or whatever. He'll go longer than you think would be like, okay, like 5 times of something.
Carol, hold my calls.
And then another one, and then another one, and then another one. He just keeps going, and to the point you're like, oh my gosh, now it's funny. And I don't know how he does it. Like when he would do the, I don't even know what his character was, but he was kind of gauging like Congress, Christopher Law, Minnesota, no. Blah, blah, blah. Like he was listing people, but like you would think he would list 3, maybe 4, and he would get to 16. And there was really a no or a yes and no real huge punchline in there, but he would just keep going. And you're like, okay, now it's funny.
Absolutely, Amy. I mean, in most civilizations, it's actually very rude to interrupt someone during a song. But since I know you're not from this country,
carry on. Today on the show, we are going to cover quite a bit of things today with another day of the Olympics. Watched a lot more yesterday. Basically, time-wise, stuff is going on right now as we speak. I assume if you're watching and or listening to us today, you're not afraid of spoilers. So we'll be updating what's going on in the Olympics for day 4. We'll recap day 3. It is the Major League Baseball trade deadline today. The Giants make a move that doesn't feel to be wildly popular. We'll discuss that today. We also will talk more about that with the Bay Area sports guy. Steve Berman will join us at 8:15 this morning, kind of get his perspective on kind of what the plan is for the Giants. And the latest with Blake Snell, seemingly, unless the Giants get an offer they can't refuse, he might be the guy going forward on the Giants, and this might be the team going forward on the Giants, trying to chase that wild card down. They have, we mentioned yesterday, a very favorable schedule coming up, and it looks like they're going to not really be buyers or sellers. I mean, they sold a little bit, but that's what I said yesterday. They could probably approach it this way and not have things change that much because they're still going to be in the race, even if they gutted the team and with intentions of selling. But they're in the race, and that's the reality of the situation. They got a Giants A's battle, a battle of the Bay, one of our final ones of those, I guess, right? We're getting near the end. I know they still play each other again, but they've a 2-2 game series remaining here in the next couple of weeks. We also have training camps that continue to go on in the NFL, and that means quarterback battles. We will feature about 5 of them that are going on right now in the NFL, coming up in the 7 o'clock hour, and all our regular stuff too as well. If Safe or Out, 3 for Madness, leading off. We will get you to celebrity birthdays at the end of the show as well. Chris, one of the things I found myself doing while kind of gauging family and friends' interest in the Olympics, which I feel like a lot of people have been into it, though yesterday I happened to be hearing the same part of the show that you did with the end of Styles and Watkins crosstalk with Whitey into the Drive Guys with Whitey and Draper. Whitey was not really into the Olympics too much, and then they really kept trying to gauge his excitement, and he was like, yeah, just checking it out here and there.
Then I was listening, and it was him and Jay talking, and Jay was against sports climbing. Have you seen that?
He was against it?
Against it. He said it shouldn't be an Olympic sport.
Okay.
And so I was just like, what? So we had like a side text. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, it's like amazing. And he called it, quote, DZ for adults. Okay. Discovery Zone for adults. And then I'm like, well, that's gymnastics.
Yeah. I mean, all this stuff, I mean, what I have on now, I had cycling, BMX freestyle, which, I mean, no chance I'm doing any of that. I'm impressed by it. I mean, maybe it's a sport, it's an event, whatever. I think that's what a lot of this stuff is.
The weird thing with that, though, is like, I find it weird when there's already international competitions to find out which the best country is.
Like, well, isn't that in a lot? It's just we don't see those sport. Like gymnastics has national championship, world championships.
Oh, no. Yeah. I do think that, but it's like we're the only competition is international competition.
Oh, I see.
Like the X Games is like the Olympics for BMX, right?
Yeah, because they already do that. Yeah.
Like soccer has the World Cup.
Right.
Everyone wants to work, like, especially for the men's side.
Yeah.
The Olympics is second to the World Cup.
Yeah, and I know, like, for sports that we kind of follow that way, like golf's in the Olympics, tennis is in the Olympics.
Yeah, those are sports that are already international competition.
And I'm not saying that anybody that wins a gold medal looks at that differently, but our measurement is majors won. Like Novak Djokovic has the lead there, Nadal and Sampras and Federer and all these people. It's like, oh, but they won 3 gold medals. I mean, cool. But I feel like we kind of measure it on the other entities the way it's already kind of measured. But
like, I like basketball just because we don't see these players play against each other in this way.
Right. And then, yes, and I see, whether you're just for Team USA, which I'm sure a lot of people are, to see Steph play with LeBron is kind of cool. To see AD and Tatum and Embiid and these guys all on the same team.
To see Halliburton get LeBron his water.
Wow.
I mean, it's cool to see.
It is. Good for him. But I've been asking more family and friends that question about if you had 4 years to train for an event, and the answers kind of end up being funny to me. What some people like, oh, I think if I really worked at that, I'm like,
some people have
higher thoughts of themselves, or think it's for whatever reason they're closer to these athletes.
Anthony Edwards was at the women's table tennis
he did go
event the other day.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't playing, but he was like watching them. I was like, oh, he's scouting.
He's scouting, trying to figure out what he can do because he claims he can do. I mean, that, like, when you're already a world-class athlete, I feel like, they have better chances. But we're talking about the people that are listening to the show every day that at best are weekend warriors or did something. Oh, I used to play that when I was a kid.
We've seen it on another side of, you talk about how good Doug became at golf, and it's just because he took his training in basketball to
dedication
golf.
And abilities, and you just go, okay, you got fast, you got good too fast. Bobby Jackson did the same. You're like, ooh, Bobby's learning how to play golf. It's a little rough. And then, man, Bobby's great now. And I say great, but like he's not there's no way he's not even close to the tour guys. Not even close.
Here's the other thing. It was like that one viral thing that was getting famous of asking your boyfriend if he could beat Caitlin Clark one-on-one.
Right. And what answers you were getting.
And that was the thing. It's because there's this idea of like, oh, if I trained really hard for like 6 months, I
Mhm.
can do that. It's like, well, she's training too.
Yeah.
She's
and
not
has been
giving
training
up the game.
for 20. Yeah, it's not like she's stopping and waiting for watch you go for 6 months and then starts fresh.
Like the idea of like, oh man, if I pick up golf and I'm playing every day and I'm training and stuff like that, I can get really good. Yeah, but the people on tour are doing the exact same thing.
Actually, what would be the funny exercise is what we should not. We will never do this, but if any of us had the audacity to say, whatever, 100 meters, pommel horse, whatever we said, and then say, okay, you know what? I'm going to give you the next 6 months, but you are going to do their training.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
So if I picture like, okay, I've got 4 years to train for the 400 meters. I would like I wouldn't, okay, tomorrow I'll go out and stretch. Let me do a little jogging. No, you have to do what they do. Yeah, good luck.
Not happening.
Good luck. Just a different level. All right, so the Olympics are going on now. We will keep you up to date on what's happening. It looks like a beautiful day in Paris. We had some rain early on. Still haven't figured out the water situation, though. I'll tell you about the triathlon and their delays. That's just gross.
Gross.
Yeah, see? Exactly. We have leading off coming up, but a lot more of the show straight ahead. We're just getting started here on a Tuesday, July 30th on Sacktown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10, 5, touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave with a quick question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were surprised at the cost of the repair? Guess who did that? My dad. You know what he did? He listened to his kid, and he called American Energy Heating and Air, who gives and takes pride in honest, straightforward solutions to get your system up and running. They went to my dad, gave him the bid, outbid the other people, and now they're replacing his air conditioner. Now have one of their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion as well. American Energy Heating and Air, as I've told you for a long time, been around since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area, A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Look, if it's good enough for my dad, I got to think it's good enough for anybody else. I would not trust anybody else other than American Energy at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Let's do it. Leading off, the 3 top stories in the morning.
Huge news. This is very important.
Here's cut number 1.
Okay, back to sports that we don't always get a chance to watch. Probably most of you out there listening have played, and I'm going to call it what you call it, ping pong. It's table tennis. Chris and I are watching this. The serve spin, the speed rate, oh my goodness. The points that they are getting is a different game.
Yeah.
Completely different game than if you and I, who won at the ping pong table? Alan?
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure we'd have a fun competitive tournament among staffers. Nobody's playing like this.
My friends and my friend got a table tennis table, and we played like almost every day for like a couple months. We got pretty good.
Yeah.
But like nothing compared to this.
Yeah. I mean, actually, the amount of movement to how much of the table they cover side to side, spacing, the spin, the speed, the hand-eye coordination, and the intensity. I mean, my goodness. Wow. Just a different level. All right, let's go for it. Leading off.
No look, right in stride to her teammate. Brianna Stort with the easy finish. U.S. in complete control. A 27-point lead. Timeout Japan.
One of the more dominant efforts of yesterday's Olympics was the women's basketball team. They have one of the best streaks going in the Olympics as far as domination. USA women's basketball always wins the gold. They usually dominate. I would say it was close enough early, but they just dominate. Asia
and
Wilson,
they were toying with it.
They were. Brianna Stewart, great. Like just the whole the roster's just stacked, and they're great. And they won with ease. Their warm-up round, I shouldn't say warm-up, it counted. It was a pool play, and Team USA men won in round 1. Women won in their first game. The men play again tomorrow, I believe. So, again, the Olympic action went off yesterday, continues today. We'll keep you up to date on what's going on throughout the show. Let's get to number 2.
Cut number 2.
Swing, and there's a high drive out toward Triples Alley. Way back there, still going. That one is going to go all the way to the wall, out of bounds, into the 7th archway. The run scores. Hill sprinting around second, going into third. A stand-up triple.
I love John Miller's description. Into the 7th archway. He's counted them. He knows which one is which. Yes, we have the Battle of the Bay tonight. Giants and A's. Hoo-ah. You going to be there for it? You excited for it? Battle of the Bay. We're running out of Battles of the Bay. That's the sad part. This one taking place in San Francisco. They'll still have the 2-game set in Oakland. Ticket prices getting up there for the final game in Oakland at the end of the year. You've already been. You've been to the final season. I said I would go to a game this year. I'm running out of time.
Yeah. I also have the ticket for the final game of the season.
Oh, you are going to the final one?
Yeah.
That's a day game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's one of those things of my cousin was like, as soon as they announced at Vegas, he's like, all right, I'm getting tickets. And now if you see the cheapest ticket now is like $100 in the third level.
I think it's more than that. I thought.
That's for just like the third level. That's if you get it from their website.
Oh, gotcha.
And it's probably not counting fees or anything like that.
I'm guessing your friend got that at a decent rate back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do know a couple people like that. They were bummed about the A's and the announcement of Sacramento. The second that happened too, they're like, well, the one thing I'm doing is I've had so much experience in Oakland. That's my place. I want to see him stay. Well, I'm going to the final game. So I know of 3 other people that have done that exact thing.
Yeah.
Bought the final, they did it April, and March. I don't know when.
Pretty sure we're going to take the train up there because I think it's going to be a madhouse.
It should be, right? The final one. I mean, that's going to be.
How much of it be a thing if the A's like, man, look how well we did for this final game. What if we have a final game next season?
I know. Gosh. And just, are they going to do like an instant price gouging of food and water and parking on that day and beers?
I went there. They were already doing that.
I know, but they could even do more knowing that, hey, they're here.
Yeah.
They're going to buy food. Oh, my goodness. Let's hope that doesn't happen. We got the Battle of the Bay tonight. Giants and A's. All right, let's get to the last one and leading off.
Cut number 3.
And now we've been gutted. Organ donors for the rich. Boston's taking our kidneys. Yankees taking our heart. And you guys are sitting around talking the same old good body nonsense like we're selling jeans. Like we're looking for Fabio.
The streak continues. Moneyball. We got the clip in, a different one. Major League Baseball trade deadline is today. There has been quite a bit of action around Major League Baseball. It's later this afternoon when the deadline will come and go. Lots of teams being aggressive with this trade deadline. Giants, again, playing the middle of the road right now are what the Giants are trying to do. Not really be buyers, not really be sellers. They made the trade yesterday for Soler. He is out. That just never panned out in San Francisco. But we'll get a little more explanation on that a little bit later in the show when the Bay Area sports guy Steve Berman joins us again. That's coming up right around 8:15. So kind of the table is set for you today. We encourage all of you to check us out. We thank you for watching if you're on our YouTube. If you are on our YouTube page, right down at the bottom of the page, there's a thumbs up button. Just hit that. Make me feel better. Hopefully make you feel better. You're throwing out a compliment, but it helps our algorithm. We appreciate that. All the guys that are following our numbers and our metrics would like that. If you want to chime in on the show, you can continue the chat on our YouTube page. Also on our text line at 916-339-1140, or one of the old-fashioned ways. Maybe you haven't called a radio show before. You can do that at 1-800-920-1140. So, again, coming up on the show, safe or out, 3 for Madness. We mentioned Steve Berman joining us. Our quarterback battles, we have 5 of them. We got a couple segments on, the excitement of a good old-fashioned quarterback controversy. We'll talk about some of those across the league. We'll keep you updated on the trade deadline. The Olympics continue. But when we come back, we will have a brief segment on the Sacramento Kings. Pretty quiet, not a lot going on, but there was some word out there that the Blazers, what they would want for a guy like Jerami Grant. We've talked about so much about Markkanen and Kuzma and who else could fit. Well, would you be willing to part with 2 first-round picks for Jerami Grant. That story's been floated out there. We'll discuss, share our thoughts next.
What's the missing piece for the 49ers?
Which names will they add during free agency? Whether it's in season or off season, the coverage never stops. Get the latest 49ers news on Sacktown Sports at sacktownsports.com.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Why'd the kid jump off the boat?
I don't know. Why?
Peer pressure.
Oh, good one, Ned.
Ned isn't funny, but Ned owns a boat, and you don't. So every time Ned tells another one of his unfunny boat puns, you're going to laugh loud and keep on laughing until you get a boat of your own.
A pier where you put a boat.
Yeah, I get it.
And when you do get a boat of your own, make sure you save money by bundling it with your home, auto, or other vehicles with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Ah, the sweet feelings of summer. The kiss of warm sun on your skin. The softly scented breeze blowing through the trees. Don't worry, you have Off Clean Feel, fragrance-free mosquito repellent that feels good on skin, so even mosquitoes can't ruin those sweet feelings of summer. Off Clean Feel. Prevention is the best protection from mosquitoes.
Celebrate Sacramento Rivercats baseball during our 25th anniversary season. Pick your favorite weekly promotion, giveaway game, or theme night, and join the fun at Sutter Health Park. Stick around post-game every Friday and Saturday night as we light up the sky with the brightest fireworks in town. For a full promotion schedule and to buy tickets, visit rivercats.com. We'll see you there.
Where do you go when you need someone to represent you? For me, you want someone that is local and that you can actually get to and talk with. There are plenty of big branded lawyers out there with the name, but you never get to talk to them. So go to saclegaldefense.com and connect with the law offices of Jonathan Gonzalez. He's local, he'll represent you, and he'll have your back. Whether it's expungements, wrongful termination, when you're in a spot when you need legal help, call the law offices of Jonathan Gonzalez at 916-304-9187.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
On Sacktown Sports.
So no on the BMX racing for you, Chris? Yeah, it looks like they've got a planned course, which is fine. I thought the road biking was more entertaining, or the cycling like through the city of Paris was pretty crazy. Yeah. But I mean, I'm impressed. There's not a doubt in that, but it does feel X Games-ish. I think that was a good call that you said earlier. It's good though. It's impressive. I mean, it's an entertainment watch, but so far for me, and we're going to get into this a little bit later, I thought if anybody watched any amount of the men's gymnastics yesterday, which I prefer the women's gymnastics more, but the men were great. And Team USA, I don't know any other way to say it, but there was such a joy to a third place finish that I've ever seen.
There's one thing that I do not like about men's gymnastics,
which is
when it comes up online, the video keeps coming out about that one guy. He just went full board into the pommel horse.
Oh, from years ago.
Yeah, it's like 43 years ago. This happens. Like,
Yeah. The other thing I find weird with men's gymnastics, like the floor routine is like the athleticism that the men and women have is just absurd. The women have music. It helps. Like the men are just going, and there's nothing wrong with it, but the music accentuates the women's routine. I don't know why the men don't have it.
I hear like Poison or something like that.
Yeah.
The men's gymnastics.
That's what you would have.
Yeah.
Exactly. A good song can help anything. So we'll get into some Olympics conversation coming up.
See the other thing coming up right now?
Rugby?
U.S. women versus New Zealand.
Oh, no. Is this sevens or whatever it is? Let's see.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because sevens, they score a lot.
Oh, there's going to be some hitting in this.
Where's our girl? Alana Marr? Right?
Yeah.
I don't see her at the moment, but look at the crowd for that.
That's so wild.
I would
here was the thing of you saying yesterday, it was just like, Chris, would you want to go to the Olympics? No. I might want to go see rugby at the Olympics.
I would say, I mean, again, I've known about rugby. I've known friends that have played rugby. I don't know a thing about rugby. And I have watched this as much as anything so far in the Olympics. And I've been very entertained by it. And then just trying to understand, again, sorry, pardon the ignorance, but if you don't follow a sport, you just don't know. But where they score is where the free kick or whatever, that extra 2 points. So like if you score on the angle, you have to kick from that harsh angle. If you score right in the middle between the two posts, then you're kicking straight away. And then just trying to fully understand how you delay. So someone has to lay on top of the person, and then it goes through their legs it's almost like it is a snap. There's our girl. Man, getting her, there's just no way. You just can't take her down.
Now that I think about it, do you know who she reminds me of?
Who?
Icebox from Little Giants.
Yes, we got Icebox. Oh, now they just have to run the annexation of Puerto Rico, and they got everything. Good call there. More Olympics coverage, more of what's going on again for us in our studios. We got BMX, whatever the biking competition is, like freestyle biking, and New Zealand versus USA in the semifinals. Also, if I'm not mistaken, Chris, it's like 2 7-minute halves.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fast.
It's quick.
So it's like, oh, I don't have time to wait. No, it's going to be over fast. So we'll keep
Sounds
you up
like
to
the name
date.
of something.
We will get to that update soon here. All right. So I went to break talking about the Kings, just a small segment of the Kings. We got a lot of other stuff to get to today, and the Kings not making a lot of news right now. Understandably, there's not a lot going on with them. Most of the free agents are gone. Maybe the Kings still have a roster spot. And, you know, I in agreement with some that are wondering the overall makeup of this roster, what might be missing. Certainly, I feel like they're going to be a little bit of a smaller team. I don't think that has phased Monty McNair, the front office, and for that matter, even Mike Brown. I think they've played small. I think they'll continue to play small, and they'll work their way around that. But can you get a little bit bigger? Can you get a little bit better? You always want to do that. And when we were talking about after the Kings added DeMar DeRozan, everybody kind of agreed that was an upgrade in talent. Then it's like, oh, the Kings are probably done. But no, they might still be looking at Markkanen. They still might be looking at Kuzma. And a name that at times has been out there regarding the Kings, there's not really rumors around this right now, but is Jerami Grant. And he's got a pretty hefty contract, is a good player. Fit-wise, I could see how it would make some sense. And there are reports that what Portland would be willing to give up for Jerami Grant is 2 first-round picks. Again, 2 first-round picks may be the right call for someone like Jerami Grant. But if the Kings already have the 31 pick swap, they still owe Atlanta a first-round pick. I feel like everything the Kings do, if you kind of read between the lines, is never they want to stay sharp inside the edges as far as not let any contracts get too far out of hand, not give up or compromise the future too much. And unless there's just the move where you go, okay, that absolutely has to be done. And to me, this doesn't qualify for that. Jerami Grant would help this team. He would be a nice piece to the puzzle. But I don't think for the Kings, and based on their circumstances and where they are, that you would go, if they add him, that puts them over the top. So who cares about the future picks? I don't feel that way. And the hard part is where the Kings are, I don't know that there's a player that would get you to feeling that statement because of how good and competitive the West already is. Read that yesterday, told you the quote from George Karl where he said, the addition of Russell Westbrook puts Denver at the top of the West. Might. I'm not sure I believe that. I'm not saying that's even a doubt on Denver and or Westbrook. But there's just so many good teams, so many talented players, and a lot of them reside in the West. And the way I've been saying it, and I'll stick to this, you kind of need things to go right. I love what Phoenix has done. I personally do. I think they've got an excellent chance to do some very big-time damage in the West. Are they going to get out of the West? I don't know. It's that good. Will everything go right for the Suns? Will everything go right for the Kings? Will everything go right for the Thunder and T-Wolves and so on and so forth? So I think when that story was out and people were talking about that would be the cost of getting someone like Jerami Grant, I always try to relate that to the Kings. Does it make sense for them? I don't think it does. And again, that's not a slide on Grant. He's a good player. But would he put them over the top? You start to talk about what he has been and could be. 6'7". So I think they're already in a position where they've kind of got everybody for about 4 of their starting positions, maybe 3 of their starting positions, playing out of position traditionally. Like, I think if this roster was perfectly constructed, I think you'd have Fox at point. He fits in the right spot. I think DeRozan would be best suited at 2. He's likely going to play 3. I think Keegan would be best suited at 4. He's likely going to, best suited at 3. He's likely going to play 4. I still like Sabonis best at 5, but some people can talk me out of that one and put him at 4. So you got many people kind of playing out, technically out of position, even though we know it's positionless basketball. And a lot of people do this and a lot of teams do it. Kings aren't unique to that. But I just think kind of by and large, they're just smaller. And you can have guys playing different positions, but might be 6'9", 6'10". And you're like, man, they got a 6'11", 3. Okay. Kings certainly don't have that. So that's the area. If they can look to upgrade, I would try to do it in that front court. But I don't think that's the answer. Still gets paid a ton of money in Jerami Grant. And age 30, that doesn't faze me. I was a little surprised his own career trajectory when he was with Denver, really a nice complementary piece to what the Nuggets were doing and building, that he chose the money to go to Detroit, and they just have been bad when he was there. Goes to Portland, kind of witnessing the same thing, a little transformation of moving on from Dame and rebuilding. So he probably could use some more wins coming up, and he certainly would get that if he was a King, but I don't see that happening as far as the Kings giving up 2 future first-round picks for a guy like Jerami Grant. So just thought we'd go through that a little bit. Still to come when we return. We will keep you up to date on what's going on with the Olympics. Remember, Steve Berman, Bay Area sports guy, will join us at 8:15. We'll talk more about what the Giants have done and what they might still do with baseball's trade deadline coming up later today. But when we return, safe or out, and will, in fact, the trade deadline determine this year's Major League Baseball postseason? We've got that and more straight ahead.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SacktownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SacktownSports.com.
The best things in life, they come in 2s. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in 2s. Visit ConsumerCellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by September 2nd, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards concert tickets for your daughter to see that singer who sings about painful breakups. And one song will inspire your little beauty to break up with that beast she's dating, Brian. Instead, she'll date someone who's nice and worthy of her love, not someone who addresses you and your spouse as bro. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Quick Quack Car Wash takes the drama out of keeping your car clean.
Let's wash the car. Don't spray the hose inside the car. Oh.
Our convenient wash packages make it easy to get your car soaked, scrubbed, and on your way. Protect your car from sun, rain, and pollen with a ceramic duck wash, and get our in-wash light show and an unbeatable clean.
Oh, the kids filled the gas tank with water.
Of course they did. Quick Quack Car Wash. Come in today and get 25% off any wash.
Jason Mraz and the Super Band. Live. The mystical, magical, rhythmical, radical ride. Friday, August 9th, the venue at Thunder Valley. Jason Mraz and the Super Band with special guest Molly Miller Trio. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Jason Mraz and the Super Band in concert. Pick up the new album, Mystical, Magical, Rhythmical, Radical Ride.
Whitey here reminding you that not all gas grills are created equal. Bring out all the delicious flavors in your grilled meats with the amazing Napoleon Prestige and Prestige Pro line of outdoor cookers. My Napoleon Stainless Steel Pro Series gas grill has turned me into a grilling pro with features other grills cannot match. They're built different, built better, built to last. Made with premium stainless steel that boasts quality and a lifetime warranty. I may never want to cook indoors again. Napoleon grills and accessories are now available at your nearby Amy's, Ace Hardware in Sacramento, and now El Dorado.
Sacramento, Dierks Bentley's coming to town. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends. Parmalee, Tyler Rich, Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPFest.com. Brought to you by The Scoundrel Red Wine, Naturewood Home Furnishings, and Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers.
Malik Monk plays here.
Left goes right, steps back, launches the three. Nothing but net. Oh, that was just filthy. Oh, my, that was sweet.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings. Safe or out? It's time to go around baseball. 3 pitches, 3 swings. It's safe or out on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
All right, Team USA needs some work to do here in the Rugby Sevens against New Zealand. They're already in the second half. I told you this is quick. And they just gave up some more points. So after an early score, they've given up 2 straight, nearly one right before the half, but that was ruled out of bounds. And so New Zealand is now ahead. Could be 14-5 here in a minute. Let's see. Let's wait for that extra kick. And, yeah, I believe so. So, okay, let's go. Let's go, Lanamar. Get going. All right, it is time for us to get going. We've got safe or out, 3 different questions here. Chris, take it away.
Nobody in baseball has had more than 140 RBIs in 15 seasons. Safe or out, Aaron Judge will do that this year.
Well, Judge had 2 home runs yesterday, 3 more RBI. He's at 99 RBI. Pretty amazing year that he's having. 39 home runs, 99 RBI. Let me check in how many games he has played. So how many is left for him to get to 140? The team has played 108. So there is still 54 games to go, and he needs 41 RBIs. It's going to be close. The thing about Judge, like there was a time where he was on pace to beat his 62 home runs, then he went behind, and it just takes a day like yesterday to really ramp that back up. I think he's almost right on the same pace that he was when he hit 62. He might be barely behind that. So he can get hot. He can get going bunches. The offense now should be getting a little bit better with Stanton back, certainly with Jazz Chisholm they introduced to him. He was amazing yesterday. I'm going to say, yeah, I'm going to say safe. I think Aaron Judge can do that and will do that. Get to 140 RBI. Just an incredible number. Now he's at 39 homers and 99 runs batted in. All right, question 2.
There have been a total of 21 complete games in all of baseball this season. Say for out, that is good for the game.
I don't think so. I think that's out. I was looking up this number. So just for perspective, 21 total. Of every pitcher that has started 21 times this year, a pitcher has gone the distance, which actually I thought would be a little bit lower. Greg Maddux had a 3-year stretch where he led the league. In the 3-year total, he had 28 by himself. He had 2 10s and an 8.
He was also pitching like 90 pitches during
exactly and throwing 45. No, he threw okay. He knew he was a craftsman.
It's not looking good.
Oh man, Chris, I'm now done with rugby. We are not good at rugby. No, New Zealand's fantastic. That's a 17-0 run, and we're running out of time. And every time I look up, we don't have the possession. Oof. All right. Well, got to keep working at it. We'll see if they can pull off a comeback. Yeah, I don't know if it's good for baseball. I would say no, because I feel like we know less and less pitchers. We talked about Randy Johnson yesterday. Just mentioned Greg Maddux, Roger Clemens, Pedro Martinez. I mean, there was a time where the pitchers were kind of the household names too, as well as the hitters. It's like, ooh, this is a Pedro start. I got to watch this game.
Oh, those are parties in Fenway.
Yeah. Where now they're good pitchers. I mean, Garrett Cole's one of the game's great pitchers. It's like, okay. We still are at the tail end of some known names like Scherzer, Kershaw, Verlander. But maybe Skeens. Is Skeens becoming, okay, Paul Skeens is pitching. I got to watch him. I mean, he continues to just be stellar. But he's just at the beginning of this. So I don't think there's a reason why I guess we have the way baseball is being played now, where pitchers, if you're fortunate, get you to the 5th inning. I know they're very aware of the third time through the lineup. There's metrics there that dictate that there are substantial number differences when you face a guy a third time. But if a pitcher's got it going and he's dealing and he's figured out his way to pitch, I'd like to see those guys stay in. And it's not just back in my day. I just think, we've changed the game. I don't know if it's for the better, but there's been reasons for it. And I think as fans, sometimes, I remember going to a couple of different outings. Like one of the best pitching matchups I ever went to, Chris, as a kid was Doc Gooden versus Fernando Valenzuela. At that time, it's like, oh my goodness, it doesn't get any better than this. I think Gooden was in year 2. Valenzuela was still very early in his career. And it's like, this is going to be amazing baseball. And it was. They both pitched a long game, and I want to say it was 2-1. But it was intense, fun all the way through, and it was a regular season game. Whereas now, I don't even know what a great pitching matchup we'd go, oh, I got to watch this baseball game. It just doesn't happen anymore.
I told you my best one I ever saw was Tim Hudson versus Pedro Martinez.
Like that was elite at any level, but certainly at that time.
Tim Hudson, complete game shutout. I think Pedro went 8. Only gave up 2 runs, and that was at the beginning of the game.
Which just wouldn't happen now. Yeah, 2 runs early. It's like, pitch count. What can we get him to 5? And yeah, you can, because he's a horse and he's awesome and he'll figure out a way. All right, question 3.
Safer out. The trade deadline will end up defining this year's MLB postseason.
Well, a lot of times that's like this move put them over the top. I will say no, and because I'll equate it to when the NFL makes a trade, when the NBA makes a trade. A lot of times there's excitement about it and the thought of this team got better because they made these efforts. But it doesn't always work that way. I think it's kind of what you've got already existing with the new pieces, barring something even bigger today, and the deadline's still coming up today. And then the other part about baseball that's also weird is, like, today's the trade deadline, but then you'll find some other guys that move after the fact. You're like, wait, what's going on here? How did this happen? What are the rules? But some movement has been made. There's been several teams have the common theme. I think the Rays and the Jays have been more aggressive in selling. The White Sox will be today. They'll be a team to watch because they're just so bad. And they got some people that would be coveted, especially pitching. We'll see if the A's are aggressive at all in that realm. And then you look at the Marlins, who've already made some movement. Maybe the Rockies as teams that, look, they just got nothing. There's no chance that they're making any kind of wild card run. And it would probably be in their best interest to make a move. So there you go. That is safe. or out. I still think the best trade deadline, though, is the NBA. There's the most activity in that. That's kind of like constantly watching Woj and Shams or Sam or whoever it might be just to see what movement. It's kind of like free agency, too. It's like you constantly have their alerts on to see what's going to go on there. Before the end of the hour, we'll keep you up what's going on the Olympics. So in live action, they're in extra time now. Team USA, who led 5-0 in the rugby sevens on the women's side, has given up 24 straight.
All they need is score, stop, score, stop, score, stop, score, stop.
And then what? They win?
I think so.
Yeah. Can they do all of that in extra time? Where's my girl Mar? I haven't seen her in a while. Oh, well, the U.S. may get a last point here, a couple of points. And then do you have to dive in? I feel like everybody dives.
I think the ball has to touch the
ground.
Yeah.
Oh, because you're right. I have seen people run through and then just put the ball down. But almost everybody dives. I don't know if that's out of being tired. I mean, that was a long run for Team USA. So they made it 24-10. They missed their kick earlier. This will be a straightaway kick, so likely they'll make it. But New Zealand's tough. New Zealand will be in the gold medal.
A little upset that we didn't get to see the haka from the women's team.
I know.
Do they do a haka?
I would assume so. I mean, that's kind of the country tradition, isn't it? I would assume they would have to. I know the men do. Team USA got the extra points there, but looks like that's it. That's it. This started in our last segment, and the game is over. The match is over. Women's Rugby 7 semifinals. New Zealand 24, United States 12. I mean, if you're going to that event, that's like a 10, well, in real time, what was that, Chris? 15, 20 minutes?
Something like that.
And it's jam-packed. I know there's another semifinal, but you could be at that facility for about 45 minutes and watch two matches, and be done. So U.S. will go to the bronze medal match. The other semifinal has Canada versus Australia.
I mean, New Zealand versus Australia would be a pretty good.
That would be good. That would be good. We scored first and we scored last, but nothing in between. Losing 24-12. Come on, Team USA. I will do a medal count a little bit later in the show to see where we are. U.S. still doing quite well, as would it be expected. But when we come back we're going to get into the Olympics, day 3, some of the things that I was watching, maybe you were watching as well. And, I think one of the things I'm going to discuss, and I would love your opinion on it, is maybe why do you watch the Olympics? I mean, Chris, what would be your answer if I said, the Olympics are on, and someone goes, why are you watching the Olympics?
Just because it's on.
Just because it's on. I mean, I like sports in general. That's an easy answer. I like competition.
If it was like a yearly thing, I think it'd be like, whatever.
Yeah,
I think like with the X Games is one of those things. Like if it's on, I'll check out something from it, but not really into it.
But the fact that there's part of that, the sacrifice that it takes to, and we're saying 4 years, but really this is more than that, years of preparing and competing and chasing a goal. Certainly the storytelling, they do a good job of that. But it's competition. And I think that's, to me, just something I'm a competitive person. I like that, whether it's games, whether it's sports, and watching other people do it and chasing and doing things that you can't do, and watching how they make it look so easy, and the difficulty or being in awe of this. And then, in some of the sports where it's judgment sports, where there's judges, like gymnastics, let's say, and the experts of, usually there's an announcer and then a former gymnast that'll go, okay, this routine is an easier one or more difficult. And you're like, and they might see something in real time, like, that's going to cost them a point. I'm like, what did they, like, I don't see a fall or a stumble, but their legs were partially open, or, they opened up, their chest was too open with their arm presentation. I'm like, what?
That's the thing I don't get at all, especially like diving.
Yeah.
Always seems like, whoa, that was incredible. That was like, ooh, you didn't go in clean there.
Yeah.
You were untucked a little bit. This is going to cost them. And they get like 9th. And I'm like, what?
I think that was the best thing I've ever seen. And then when they slow it down, you're like, oh, maybe I see. But you saw that in real time.
Yeah.
Or, like the splash was barely any splash. We're like, no, too much of a rotation. That was about a quarter turn too much, and that's really going to cost him. And I'm like, it is? What? But sometimes the details, like it's that. And the other one I feel for. So if you and I and Dave or whatever Olympians and we're in it and we finish 1, 2, 3, it doesn't even matter the order. But I'll say I'm the bronze. And like in some people like, oh, you finished third. And it might be like some of these, like the 100 backstroke last night was divided by like the winner and 2 people tied for second. But there's others that it was like 0.0001.
Yeah.
And I'm in third. And it's like in some areas, it's not a failure, but it's like, oh, you were third. You know how it's less than that. The middle finger was longer than mine that reached the wall.
I kind of think that's a very American way of thinking, because I do believe like the Olympics, like these are the top 3 best at this sport.
Right.
Like how incredible is this? And then there's a lot of us just like, I think Dwayne Wade said that when he won the bronze, he's like, we were furious, we were mad, we were upset that we didn't win the gold. And he said, like, I think that's something that I wish we would have done differently. He's like, we're one of the greatest teams in the world. We should take pride in that, but we didn't do that.
Yeah. And I think we do that, honestly, in our you're right, regular sport, like the World Series loser.
Dave is always getting into it with some guy because the Niners lost the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, it's an incredible run, but, well, and it changes everybody's opinion on the team, on the coach, on the quarterback, on the people the ring chasing. It really is so true. The gold medal chasing. And what they're doing is absolutely phenomenal. And if you get edged out by 0.001 on a judge's score or literally on a touch at the wall in a sprint like the tape where it's wire to wire, I mean, yeah, you got silver. Yeah, you got bronze. Yeah, you got 4th. Think about that. Oh, I didn't medal. And 1, 2, and 3 were an eyelash ahead of you. What a failure. My goodness. We're so tough on our athletes. We really are. But when we come back, kind of want to flip that and get to what I thought was the most enjoyable thing of day 3 at the Olympics. We'll kind of recap what we saw yesterday and some things to watch going forward. We'll do all that and more as we start the 7 o'clock hour of the show. That is coming up on Sacktown Sports.
Malik Monk plays here.
Started left, goes right, steps back, launches the 3. Nothing but net. Oh, that was just filthy. Oh, my, that was sweet.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Celebrate Sacramento Rivercats baseball during our 25th anniversary season. Pick your favorite weekly promotion, giveaway game, or theme night, and join the fun at Sutter Health Park. Stick around post-game every Friday and Saturday night as we light up the sky with the brightest fireworks in town. For a full promotion schedule and to buy tickets, visit rivercats.com. We'll see you there.
I would end the day with sore feet, sore legs. The drugstore inserts that I was purchasing were really not very useful at all. I walked into the Good Feet store and the guy kind of grinned at me and said, I hear that a lot. I was living with chronic pain before going to the Good Feet store. Now I don't really have that problem. I'm able to do the things that I expect to be able to do, even at my advanced age. I feel pretty good about what's going on.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam Team.
Should we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Sacktown Sports. The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
All right, second hour underway. Later on this hour, NFL training camps are going. Practice is full padded. Yesterday, the 49ers in their first full padded practice. We got stuff on that coming up at Niners at 9, a couple hours from now. But there are quarterback battles, good old-fashioned training camp battles for the QB position. And what kind of controversies do we have? We'll get into that a little bit later in the show coming up at 7:30. 3 for Madness next. But more Olympics. And you know, I was talking to Chris here at the end of the last hour, and if you are watching the Olympics, why? And I think
why do you care?
Why do you care? So, you know, if you take it to the NBA, and I'm, you know, a lot of our listeners here are Kings fans, so you watch the Kings. Maybe for some of you that expands to more basketball because you're thinking, all right, who else is going to potentially cause some problems for the Kings? I want to see these other teams, or this. I'm interested in this team because of the fight in the standings, whatever it might be. But maybe that grows outside of just Kings basketball and NBA in general. But you're drawn in for a reason. They're your local team. You've followed them for a long time. Whatever the case may be, you have an emotional investment, an attachment, right? It's our local team. I like the Kings. I want to see them win. That's probably a reason why you watch, listen, go to games. The Olympics, I think part of the charm is it's hopefully unifying as a country in a time where we don't need to get political here, but we know there's a pretty substantial divide that we have on a day-to-day basis amongst ourselves. We just do. That's a reality. I feel like a lot of the Olympics, a lot of it, doesn't mean it's perfect in this, just like anything, but that gets separated. That gets thrown away. You don't know. I don't watch it thinking, I wonder about this person's background. I wonder what their beliefs are. I wonder what this team thinks. I wonder who they support. I wonder what their thoughts are on this issue. I just don't think that. I don't think that way. I'm not saying you're wrong or right for doing it whatever way you do, but I want to believe that most people are like, hey, this rugby sevens is entertaining. There's Team USA. I would like our team to win. That's pretty much how I feel. Hey, I've got sport bike racing going on right now. All right. If there's a U.S. representative, that's an individual. I have no connection, no idea who they are. They're from Iowa. They're from California. They're from New York. Go. I'm rooting for you. Team USA. So it's competition. It's sports. It's country. That to me is part of it. And yes, we get caught up in, oh my gosh, Michael Phelps, Simone, like I love greatness. Like in any of these sports, when you're seeing the best of the best, and if they're from USA, even better. But I don't think less of the people that finish 7th, finish 10th, get the bronze, get the silver. It doesn't just have to be gold medals for me. Now, That's what I'm rooting for these people because I know that's the dream they're chasing. So what I'm getting to is kind of that ring culture, gold medal culture that we're kind of in, I would say. I think, Chris, you said it right. As Americans, it's kind of the way we are, right or wrong, and maybe many, many cases wrong. But, the arguments that people are going to have, like, I'm a Yankee fan. Yeah, I don't use this argument, but people do. Like, if Yankees lost to your team, like the Red Sox when you were there, I'm like, 27 championships.
That's lame.
It is lame. I don't like that. It doesn't matter to me. Boston Celtics now have the most championships. So they're going 18. No, you won the last one. You won the most significant one, which was the last one. You are the champs. But if you weren't, you go, we've won more than you. We've won 18. Okay.
No, it's become like a bad one for sports fans. Is saying, well, my team is worth more than yours.
No, I don't care about that. That I don't even remotely
People will brag about that. It's like, you own stock or something? Right. Are you part owner?
If you're owner, maybe that's cool. That's a cool flex. But other than that, irrelevant to me. Totally irrelevant. So, like, I would think the Yankees are the most valued franchise. I think, but if they had the record of the White Sox, I would hope you would slap me if I said my team's worth the most. Like, who cares? And I would not say we've won 27 champions. I would be down on this year's team, still support them and watch them and wait for them to be good again. But that's how I fan. That's how not everybody does that. And so last night, look, I'm watching the men's gymnastics. I knew the result, but I hadn't seen it. And I'm glad I watched it, and I'm glad I saw it. They won bronze. 3rd place. In U.S., generally, that's for whatever reason. I wouldn't say totally looked down upon, but they didn't win the gold. They didn't win silver. They got 3rd. The men's gymnastics team had not won a medal, I think, since 2008, I think it was. It looked like they won the gold. Or if there's such a thing as better than gold, they won that. And to me, the essence of sports was captured there. I didn't know these guys at all before the Olympics. Then it gets to, okay, here's a couple nights of watching men's gymnastics. I'm going to root for them. I'm going to learn a little bit more. You find out, man, some of the horrific injuries they've had to overcome, what they've battled. But there's some individualness to gymnastics and there's some team play, and they just felt like their best cheerleaders, teammates, rooting for one another, all with one goal. And the goal, I'm sure, somewhere in their minds was, could we get the gold, but could we also just end up on the podium? And they did. And, whatever that saying is, act like you've been there before. Well, this group hadn't. This group didn't win the gold, but it sure looked like they did. And it was so cool. It was so refreshing. The guy who went last, all he does is the pommel horse, and he's a specialist. He basically just has to keep it together so Team USA can get the bronze. And he has a great routine. And, they were lifting him up like he's, got the game-winning score in the Super Bowl. Like he's the hero. And while the other guys did a bunch of the heavy lifting and did their part, to me, I don't know if this is just the romantic or whatever, or the like, this to me was the essence of sports. And what's Dave's thing that he says to his kids? Did you try your hardest? Did you have fun? They tried their hardest. They had fun, and they got a good result. And I don't know about you guys, if you watched that, if you saw that, but I just thought that was one of the coolest things for a kind of a greedy society. I'll call us that. Like, you want the most, you want the best, you want the value of your team. If we go to that, the most wins for the quarterback, the most wins for your team, the championships, the nicest stuff you could possibly get. In the grand scheme of things, 3rd place, there were 2 teams that were better than Team USA, but it didn't feel like it. And it was a really, really cool reaction. And now what'll probably happen in LA, the guys in 2024, they won bronze. They better be better. That's what we'll do. But for this moment, Chris, did you see their reaction at all?
I didn't.
It's so cool. It was so refreshing. And So then even later, I don't know how much in real time this changed, but, the nighttime packaging of stuff on the main channel of NBC is basically the highlights of the day. So this happened earlier in the day. And then the team gymnastics crew, the men's team, went into the studio with Mike Tirico, and he interviewed all 5 of them. And the authenticness of their answers, that it was like they just finished and they won, and they were showing some of the highlights to them, and they were just as giddy and just as excited for one another. You go, this is awesome. That is some of the stuff that I truly love about sports. It's not always that way, but that was really, really cool. One of my highlights of yesterday. Also from day 3, Team USA women's basketball, absolutely dominant. Now there's kind of a contrast. They're supposed to win. They're expected to win. And kind of to your point, Chris, like what Dwayne Wade said, like they finished third the 1 year, and it's like, we should probably appreciate that more. I guarantee you, if Team USA men or women basketball don't win gold, they will be disappointed.
Yes.
And probably, I don't know any other way to term it, but be made fun of by the media and by us in America. Like they failed. Oh, LeBron couldn't win this, or Aisha Wilson couldn't win this, whatever it might be. I don't think that will happen, but that's probably what we would do, which is sad. After I just went on a nice praising dialogue about Team USA gymnastics, the true essence of sport to me. Chase Budinger won on the beach, not the final, but won on the beach, which is to me another cool story of the Olympics. These are the things that are great. He was a very good college basketball player, nice NBA player, but is kind of reinventing his sports career now, is in beach volleyball. So it shows you his overall talent. And the other takeaway I have so far from the Olympics, at least up through day 3, a guy, Chris, that you and I watch all the time on Saturday Night Live. How much fun is Colin Jost having?
Ooh, I don't know.
Oh, is there something new? Oh, did he cut his foot or something?
Yeah, his foot is infected.
Yeah. Before that, he's been having fun in Tahiti, and he's kind of like out there. That's the weird part about the Olympics, how it can be separated in different areas. But yeah, I heard about that. I didn't see that. Does it look bad?
Well, it's all bandaged up and stuff, and he's like...
so he heard it surfing?
I guess he was in the water, and he stepped on some coral or something that. And so he's been like... he's like, yeah, I've been going to the medical tent every day.
And his dry wit, delivering his sense of humor. So
like everything is just like, ugh.
Yeah. Early on, the stuff they showed with him, like he was like the only one out in the water. He's not a bad surfer. He got it right up. I'm like, hey, look at him.
I heard the story about him going surfing with Jimmy Buffett, and Jimmy Buffett had to save his life.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that story. What, nearly drowning or something?
No, it was like, he's like, hey, when we go out there, just make sure to stay away from these rocks. And he's like, okay. Oh. And then like the first thing he did was go into the rocks.
Close to the rocks.
And he said that like, I don't know what the tether to him and his board got like under one of the rocks, and Jimmy Buffett had to come and cut it out so he didn't drown.
What a hero, Jimmy Buffett. Rest in peace. All right.
When we had a cheeseburger.
Yeah. When we come back, again, still to come in this hour, quarterback battles in Minnesota, Denver, New England, Vegas, Pittsburgh. We're going to discuss those. But next, 3 for Madness. 3 questions, 3 answers, including John Elway shares his biggest regret as a GM. We'll discuss that and more in 3 for Madness next.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity Mobile. Connect to the most reliable 5G network nationwide. Well, A's lefty Hogan Harris spent the first 5 seasons in the organization dealing with injuries and threw less than 200 innings during that time, but now his promise is coming to fruition. In the first game of the Astros series at home, Harris, making his 9th start this year, blanked the Astros over 6 2/3 and lowered his ERA down to 2.98.
Want to save on some of the biggest names in streaming on the network made for streaming? Now through September 21st, get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for 12 months with a 1-year contract. And for just $15 a month, add the new Stream Saver. That includes Peacock, Apple TV Plus, and Netflix for just $35 a month. Switch at Xfinity.com today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Equipment taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Currently $54 a month. Actual speeds vary. Stream Saver requires Xfinity internet or TV and price subject to change.
3 questions, 3 answers. It's 3 for Madness on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Here's question 1.
Hey guys, it's taken some time, but I might be getting Chris Verlaw to the Olympics in LA in 2028. I think it's rugby. That might be my avenue. So. Women's?
Yes.
Women's rugby in LA. You know what? I know they picked the venues of a lot of the stuff in LA. Where things will take place.
Rose Bowl?
Is that what you're guessing?
That's what my guess is.
Let me see. Rugby. Is this picked yet? All right. I know this isn't the best. I'm going to try to find where rugby will be. Oh, they're showing the fields, but I thought stuff was selected. All right. I'll find that. But Chris, it might be happening. I think I might have convinced you. Again, by the way, we were talking about Team USA losing in the semifinals, so they're going to be in the bronze medal game. The other semifinals, Canada and Australia. There's 3 minutes left in the second half. I mean, this goes quickly.
And I thought Australia was just going to run all over them.
Yeah.
That's how it started off.
Oh, Canada's up 14-12, yeah. We got 3 for Madness coming up here in just a moment. Okay, wait, I might have it now. Let's see. Where are you going to be going to rugby? Okay. In Carson at Dignity Health Sports Park.
I'm guessing that's where the Galaxy plays.
I think it's Galaxy 2. There's a soccer where the Chargers played in downtown, like closer to downtown. Yeah. Not downtown LA, but more Inglewood-esque. This is in Carson. And rugby sevens are at Dignity Health Sports Park, along with tennis is out there. So the other part about that is you're a little bit off site.
Perfect.
Yeah. So basketball is going to be at Intuit Dome. SoFi will have swimming. That's going to be crazy. All the way out in Temecula, we'll have equestrian. Let's see some of these other sports down in Southern California. Pacific Palisades is going to have golf at the Riviera Country Club.
This is where the Galaxy play.
Oh, it is? It's not Galaxy 2? You might be right.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Long Beach Convention Center.
Unless they move, because like the Galaxy played there forever.
Okay. Long Beach Convention Center is going to have artistic swimming and water polo. Let's see. Out in the valley is going to be some of the other like archery and events like that. The convention center is going to have table tennis, judo, wrestling, fencing, taekwondo. Crypto.com. Oh, that's where gymnastics will be. Diving. Where's track going to be? I think it's at the Coliseum. So are they putting the track back in?
Wow.
Okay. Some work to do there. All right. 3 for Madness time. 3 questions, 3 answers. Chris, what do we got for question number 1?
We are 25 days away from the start of college football. What is your favorite part about the sport?
Okay, well, I would say the good thing about, I don't know how much our general community of Sacramento is college football fans, but you are, I am, Dave is. That's kind of fun. You were. Yeah, more so than you are now. But I always have been. I've just always loved college football, and I just kind of grew up on it. Went to UCLA games, and it was just a fun exercise every time. I just love the storytelling of the way the seasons go, whether you're each week meaning so much, certainly league play, trying to get to bowl games, trying to win a national championship. To me, really, it's all of it. It's the Heisman Trophy to it. I should say it's all of it. It's all of the stuff that's generally on the field. Now with the portal, NIL, and conference realignment, stuff I don't like. It's the games. It's game day. It's the festivities. It's the bands. It's the pageantry. That, to me, it's tailgating. Certainly for Sac State football, it's getting to know the team, calling the games, the competition each week. Like, I love all of that. But boy, they're trying to do their best to make that less and less appealing each year.
It's bad that like there's something so good about college football, and it's the bureaucracy that just kills it.
Right. I mean, because you used to say in the past, it's like, this is just the authentic nature of sport, just like I did with gymnastics on that dialogue there was these guys are playing, like they want to continue. They were good in high school. Most of them aren't going to go pro. They're getting scholarships, and it's awesome. It's not corrupt. And then you're like, oh, it's been corrupt, and now it's getting worse. And it's like,
as soon as huge amounts of money were just being shoveled to them.
Yeah. And so you're watching, Michigan play Ohio State. You're thinking, oh, 100 years of history. This is great. It's a little different now. It's a little different. This is a business, and it's, broadcasting rights and which player's making this amount of money. It's different, but 25 days away. Man, it's almost here. I love it. College football around the corner. All right, question number 2.
Question 2.
I love it.
John Elway said his biggest regret is that he didn't draft Josh Allen. How many regrets do you think GMs actually have?
I don't know that they would ever be able to truly quantify that, but how could that job not be filled with regret? And then I'm sure there's part of the internal dialogue that will rationalize your decision making. Look, we've all, not a fair comparison, but most of us out there have played fantasy football. And at some point you go, oh man, I took that guy in the second round. I know, and you missed on somebody. But you'll probably either at portions rationalize it or try to figure out what you did, or you'll just get to this regret spot. And the thing I always say about GMs is, how much do they get right? How much is it your environment? I mean, would things be different if Josh Allen was a Bronco? I believe he would be good like he is with the Bills, but would it have been different in Denver? Did he need to be in Buffalo? Did things work out this way? I mean, it's just, there's so many reasons as to why people excel or fail. But I just don't know how you couldn't be filled with regrets when you're drafting that many people, especially in football. You're going to miss a ton on, man, you picked that guy and you're taking like, hey, look, we needed a safety. We took a safety when the best player in this draft was a wide receiver and you missed him, or a quarterback or whatever.
Well, all of his quarterback picks have been awful, except for trading for Peyton Manning. Which, I mean, come on.
Which is bizarre. Someone that you go, and sometimes that happens. It's like, hey, I was one of the best quarterbacks ever, and yet he couldn't see that same kind of talent that others did as far as who he was lining up to be the Broncos QB. Now, Peyton he got, and part of that was, that neck injury in Indianapolis, and maybe that was, it still did his work to get them and got a championship, but Paxton Lynch and some other guys that he, would bring, he just missed on. And always says his biggest regret is not taking Josh Allen.
Speaking of that, have you seen our guy Andrew Luck out at the Olympics?
No.
He just looks like a regular guy now.
Yeah. And he's still probably, like 34, 35?
If that?
Yeah. It might be worth looking up. What's your guess? And celebrity birthdays, though it's not his birthday?
I'll say 34.
Andrew Luck is... Oh, I hit the wrong thing there. Andrew Luck age. 34. Right on. 35 in about 6 weeks.
He's just...
still could be playing in his prime.
Just out at the Olympics, having fun, getting excited.
Yes. I mean, gosh, this is great. I mean, these athletes are just the best.
Just out here having fun.
These guys are
so exciting.
So exciting. I'm really excited. It's a great time. Great time to be alive. Oh, gosh. All right. Question 3.
Question 3.
Safer out.
Nope.
That was safer out. Today is National Cheesecake Day. Yay or nay on cheesecake?
Yay-ish?
Oh, I'm big yay.
Yay?
Yay.
Okay. Here's how I would determine yay or nay for me. Well, I think there is such a thing, but there's a dessert bar. So whatever that means to you, ice cream of some sort, cake, pie, cookies, cheesecake, whatever else I'm missing. You're going to cheesecake?
What type of cheesecake? Is it just regular cheesecake, or is it like a chocolate cheesecake?
Is there one that would make you pick that as your first round pick over whatever else is at the dessert bar?
Like any type of like a pumpkin cheesecake.
Pumpkin would be the first thing you would take.
Yes.
Woof.
Or I've never seen like a coconut cheesecake. That would probably be my.
That'd be intriguing. I mean, I don't know that cheesecake. Well, I guess cheesecake can be bad, but I like cheesecake. I don't think, besides like the Cheesecake Factory, do I ever order it. Like, again, most places, if they have a dessert, it either would have like a brownie, cookie, or ice cream or cake, maybe even a pie. I'm taking, it's like my 6th round pick.
Really?
Yeah. Now, again, so I feel like it's yay-ish. Like, I like it, but I'm not, I don't know. Isn't there some things that you might like, but you just don't order? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I like waffle. I just don't get waffles at places or pancakes that often. I just don't. I would like, oh, they have eggs, I'm going to get eggs. I just do. And I love pancakes and waffles, but usually I just make those at home. There's some things for whatever reason, I just don't order that much at a restaurant, though I like them. Now, if that's the last thing, if there's cheesecake as the dessert, yeah, count me in. That's the only dessert there. I like it, but I'm surprised. So you would be definite yay, and it's pumpkin as first choice.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had pumpkin cheesecake.
Oh, it's amazing.
Is it better than pumpkin pie?
Like it's like combines like that. It's like, oh, you like pumpkin pie?
But you got that
you like
taste of the cheesecake?
What if we combine them together?
Magic. Are you into all the pumpkin things? I guess we're getting close to that in like September and October. Pumpkin spice and all that junk that comes around. Not for you.
Pumpkin muffin's pretty good.
Yeah, I can see that. All right. Let's see. Mike says yay on cheesecake. How about going to the Cheesecake Factory in Arden by Arden Fair after the show? Hey.
No.
Oh, Chris says no. But what if we got you pumpkin cheesecake?
I've never even been to the Cheesecake Factory.
You haven't? Great menu. I would say that's
one. I was just gonna say that's why I wouldn't want to go there. I don't want to go to a restaurant that has too many choices.
Yeah, but it's kind of fun. Get lost in the menu. How about that though? Well, what if they didn't have pumpkin cheesecake? They got like 45 others though. That's a lot of choices of cheesecake.
Maybe I look it up and see which one I would choose.
All right. Break time for us. When we return, there are quarterback battles going on. We got a couple segments on this. Let's go around the NFL and look at those battles in camp from Minnesota, Denver, New England, and more. We will do that as we continue here on Sacktown Sports.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award? Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. For your Tuesday, we're looking at mostly sunny skies and temperature starting out nice and comfortable for your morning. Into the afternoon, we're looking at hazy sunshine, light winds, highs today in the lower 90s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Your water heater, old, rusty, forgotten, we hardly ever even think about them until there's no hot water. Right now, get incredible rebates up to $3,000 off and financing available for as little as $40 a month. Leave it to Bonnie to crank up the heat.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Grab the keys to a new Toyota. This summer, get out there and explore California in a brand new Toyota truck. Answer the call to adventure with powerful performance and Toyota's legendary reliability. Don't miss a low lease on the fully redesigned 2024 Tacoma or low 1.99% APR on 2024 Tundra and Tundra Hybrid. It's time to make this summer one to remember. Toyota. Let's go places. Offer available through TFS to buyers with premier rated credit. Excludes TRD Pro and Capstone at 7/31/24.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We can get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we can take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Some people just know safe drivers save more with Allstate. Just like they know a saxophone solo makes any song smoother. See? Smooth. And they know if you're a safe driver, you can save up to 40% with Allstate. Now that's nice. Based on the national average premium savings for Allstate customers with a clean driving record versus those without. Savings vary by state and based on how you buy. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Waking you up with the best in local sports.
They just make it interesting, you know?
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
on Sacktown Sports.
We get into our quarterback battles here for a couple of segments. Reminder, Steve Berman, the Bay Area sports guy, will join us at 8:15, talk about what's going on with the San Francisco Giants and the trade deadline. Some activity for them yesterday, again, kind of walking the line, painting the, straddling the fence, buyers, sellers. They made some moves, and I think they're going to stay in the same lane that they're in a wild card race-ish. They got a very favorable schedule for a while. Maybe that's part of the reasoning, but we'll see if the bigger move is made today with Blake Snell, but I'm guessing no, but we shall see. So quarterback battles coming up here in just a moment. I know we've said this on the show. I think Dave looked over my phone one day when he was coming in. He's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I'm playing dominoes against Chris." And so we constantly play. We've had games going forever. Chris still lead me pretty substantially in that. And we played hundreds and hundreds of games. I play against a few other people. And part of the fun in playing those games is, I don't know how you do it, Chris, but when you win or lose, like, I don't know if you're thinking what am I thinking in that, if you just defeated me or if I just defeated you. Constantly, I'm like, oh yeah, Chris, I wonder how you take that. And you're not even in the room, you're at home or wherever you are. And I don't know. It's a funny premise when you're not seeing the person you're playing face to face.
I think you'd be disappointed with my reaction.
That you're not having much of a reaction?
Yeah.
On to the next game. Because most of the games are kind of similar. Every once in a while, there's an outlier game. Like you had the one game where you completely shut me out, which is about impossible. But you were up like 80-0. I'm like, okay, I can't get shut out. And then it's like, I can't change the course of this. And it was like 90, 105, 110. And it's like, just get 5, get 10 points, something in dominoes. And I think that's the only time that's ever happened to me.
I've been told that I am frustrating to play against.
Why?
Because I make people draw a lot of dominoes. And that is unfair.
Well, that's part of the game, right? That's a strategy if you want to go that way, right? So anyway, I keep my quest trying to level up with Chris, but it's going to take me a long time to do that because I'm not that close. All right, so competition is going on all the time. 49ers had their first padded practice yesterday. There's some numbers and some notes that freaked Niner fans out because Brock Purdy was throwing interceptions in the red zone. We're talking about that a little bit later in Niners at 9. But the reality is there is no Niners quarterback controversy. It's Brock Purdy's job. A lot of teams aren't really in the spot where they're worried about who the next quarterback is going to be because they've got their quarterback. And I said that you either have your franchise quarterback or you're searching for him. Some teams are in that middle ground where it's like, hey, we're going to get an established guy. Like Baker Mayfield last year had been a guy that was deemed to be the Browns, future quarterback and bounced around the league a little bit. And now is kind of the guy that Tampa has been able to win with. And they'll keep doing that. Jacoby Brissett, maybe Gardner Minshew, guys like that have been around a little bit. Joe Flacco. And can they be here? Can they help our team? Geno Smith, these type of guys. But there are quarterback competitions going on. We're going to hit a couple segments of this, and let's start and maybe even try to figure out where it may lean on who might get picked where in these quarterback controversies. I don't even say controversies, but battles. First one is in Minnesota with the Vikings. And when you talk about camp battles, what they've got going on in Minnesota is a battle between the guy they drafted, J.J. McCarthy, and Sam Darnold. And Sam Darnold has kind of been a guy that at one point was deemed, let's, pick our future quarterback, draft him here. That's what the Jets thought they had. And they were going to do everything they could to prove that he was the guy. And in other areas, in other teams, he's gone now to the Panthers and to the 49ers. But he feels like the ideal person to have on your roster because of his big arm, his experience, still his youth. Maybe he's the guy that the Vikings hit on like Tampa Bay did with Baker Mayfield. I could see that as a very good rationale of thinking for the Minnesota Vikings front office. Also, a good pro, someone that would be a good mentor to J.J. McCarthy. But when you draft a guy and have a financial investment, it's ultimately going to be a spot where it's going to be tough to keep J.J. McCarthy off the field. If I had to guess, with camp just beginning and not seeing any preseason or having really any thoughts on where Minnesota may lean, I get the feeling they may start with Sam Darnold. But at what point, like, I think the leash is short, or at least you want to get yourself to an area where, okay, when is McCarthy ready? And if that's somewhere in this season or the beginning of next season, that's why you draft a quarterback that young. You are hoping you hit. Like, everybody is trying to hit on the drafted quarterback and start that process as soon as possible so that you can capture a good player at an affordable rate, and then you start working on that contract extension, that second contract with the team, and then you start building everything around that quarterback. But you got to do the fact-finding, so the longer you sit that quarterback, like let's say Jordan Love, because Aaron Rodgers was still winning MVPs, it made sense to do that, and then you give Love the opportunity. You're like, hey, we got a pretty good quarterback. Now he gets paid, and one of the top 5 paid quarterbacks in the league. So if I'm looking at Minnesota and I see that battle, that would be where I would lean. I think it's going to be Darnold's job at the beginning. This is my prediction. And then McCarthy, ultimately, you brought him in as a draft pick to be the future quarterback of the team, or you figure out he's not the future quarterback like Minnesota's had before, and a guy like Jake Locker, it's like, nope, not him. I mean, not Jake Locker, Christian Ponder. And then you move on and, ultimately get to Kirk Cousins and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's one area that is going to be a battle amongst quarterbacks. In New England, a little bit of a similar situation in a guy that's been there before in Jacoby Brissett, who's been a starter on multiple teams, but kind of has been that veteran quality guy, never a clear-cut franchise guy, but hey, as a bridge, we're going through a transition. We no longer have Belichick. We no longer have Brady. We are trying to figure out what's next for us. And, you draft May in the NFL draft this last year as a guy you have high expectations for. And so when you do that, much like we just said with McCarthy, your thought process is, how soon can we get to Drake May? Now, the difference here may be a situation where the Patriots shouldn't be a very good football team. At least that's the belief right now. Like, I don't think if you're looking at that division, people are picking certainly the Bills or the Dolphins ahead of them, and even the Jets, right? And so it's going to be tough sledding. At least that's the projection for New England. And so Minnesota may feel like Tampa did a year ago, where it's like, hey, if things go right, we've got Sam Darnold, he keeps us kind of solid. We got some good position players and skill players. Maybe we can make some noise in our division and be in the hunt. Whereas I think it'd be really difficult for New England to be there. They started this whole quest with Mac Jones. They've already moved on from him. And now they're going, all right, Drake May ultimately be the next guy, but is Brissett the bridge? I wouldn't be that upset for them. And you could take this one of two ways, saying, look, there's not a lot of expectations for this season, so let's throw May into the fire. But you could take the complete opposite approach, like, look, we don't have a lot of expectations for this season. Let's completely groom him, give Brissett the job, and let May learn for a year, and then, kind of keep working on our personnel and reps for May in the offseason and film and study and all that, and then kind of start next year. So I don't know where they'll go, but if I'm them, I think I try to get that fact-finding done early, and I go with May as soon as possible. Another one to discuss here, and we'll kind of split this into two parts because there are 5 quarterback camp battles that are kind of the ones being defined. I mean, there might be some other things that show up, but these seem to be the most clear-cut in true battles. Denver, theirs is a little unique because they have 3 quarterbacks battling for the starting position. They have a coach that I am a big fan of as far as how it kind of works in what they have done in the past in New Orleans to what they're trying to make happen in Denver. Sean Payton has been a productive quarterback coach, and granted, he had Drew Brees, but kind of that pairing was magical. Can Sean Payton find that with one of these three guys? Jarrett Stidham, Zach Wilson, another young quarterback that's getting a second opportunity after being with the Jets and not working there. And then Bo Nix, the latest guy that they drafted to see if he could be the guy going forward. Again, Denver's in a tough division. Denver has quarterback issues, and they tried to do this with Russell Wilson last year. But between a three-headed race, that makes it a little bit more complicated as far as splitting up reps. I feel like the best potential might still be with the guys that are drafted the highest, and that's apologies to Jarrett Stidham. But Zach Wilson, you bring him in to see if you could find something with kind of the quarterback whisperer and Sean Payton. And then Bo Nix you draft. So I feel like in some order it should be Nix, Wilson, Stidham, or Wilson, Nix, Stidham. Stidham is probably about played the same amount as Wilson, but that doesn't seem to be very appealing to me at the time. It also is reflective of what the roster is, and I feel like Denver is more than a quarterback away. So they're just going to probably try all of them, grab at straws, and see which one works, and see who ultimately could develop in that position. All right, still two other battles that probably have more intrigue for most people to talk about. We'll get to those, including what the Raiders might do at QB, and then Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's got a good problem. They got two pretty good quarterbacks they got to choose between. We'll talk about that when we come back on Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
If you've been on the American River, it's uphill, it's downhill. There's trails everywhere that you can walk, and it just makes you happy. And I couldn't walk, and it was terrible. I was turning into a real crab. I went to the Good Feet store, and I tried on the arch supports. I could not believe that I was not in pain. I can walk, I can run, I can jump, I can do anything. My name's Terry, and that's my Good Feet story.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Sacramento, Dirks Bentley's coming to town. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends. Parmalee, Tyler Rich, Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPFest.com. Brought to you by The Scoundrel Red Wine, Naturewood Home Furnishings, and Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. And now, save 40% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus, free home delivery on select smart beds when you add an adjustable base. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
10. Nice work. Thanks. Taking Nugenix Total T makes a huge difference for me. Nugenix? That's the testosterone booster with TV ads with Frank Thomas, right? Yes. Are they still giving out complimentary bottles? Yes. Nugenix is a great way to feel stronger with more energy and endurance. And as Frank says, you'll like it too.
Text radio to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix. Text RADIO to 321-321. That's radio to 321-321.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave inviting you to make the switch to electric this spring and save big with American Energy. Stay ahead of the spiking energy bills this summer with up to $9,000 in rebates on a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. American Energy is providing huge rebates from SMUD as well as spring specials by installing one of many incredibly efficient AC options available to you right now. Get rid of those fluctuating gas bills in the winter and switch to year-round all-electric with American Energy. Let them perform a free in-home energy efficiency analysis and see where they can help you save for the warmer months ahead. These guys are the best. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ from the Better Business Bureau. Learn more by calling 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Why'd the kid jump off the boat?
I don't know. Why?
Peer pressure.
Oh, good one, Ned.
Ned isn't funny, but Ned owns a boat, and you don't. So every time Ned tells another one of his unfunny boat puns, you're going to laugh loud and keep on laughing until you get a boat of your own.
A pier where you put a boat.
Yeah, I get it.
And when you do get a boat of your own, make sure you save money by bundling it with your home, auto, or other vehicles with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Ah, the sweet feelings of summer. The kiss of warm sun on your skin. The softly scented breeze blowing through the trees. Don't worry, you have Off Clean Feel, fragrance-free mosquito repellent that feels good on skin, so even mosquitoes can't ruin those sweet feelings of summer. Off Clean Feel. Prevention is the best protection from mosquitoes.
The only place in the morning to get your sports fix.
Live and vocal.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Olympic Games going on, continuing. We got water polo and badminton singles going on. Team USA 2-2 tie with Romania. And we're watching Team USA versus France in singles in badminton. Man, lots of different choices going on with the Olympics. We got some more coverage throughout the show. Coming up in about 30 minutes, we're going to check in with the Bay Area sports guy, Steve Berman, on the very latest with the San Francisco Giants. More on the trade deadline coming up to start the hour as well. But wanted to kind of finish the thought on the exercise of training camp quarterback battles. We already referred to Minnesota, Denver, and New England. There's a couple more left, and I think have the most intrigue, at least in my opinion. One of them being the Raiders. And, we were talking earlier in the first thought with Minnesota, Denver, and New England. What they all have done is drafted McCarthy, Nix, and May. They basically have invested in that young rookie quarterback, and they're going to do whatever they can to see if they can hit on that quarterback. That's the goal. Well, I think the Raiders this year are on that bridge to that. This next draft, 2025 draft, the Raiders have to take a first-round QB. I just think that, and I think that was their plan this year, but things changed along the way, and they kind of didn't get any of those 5 QBs by the time they picked. So they have Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. I don't think it's great options for the Raiders, but you've got to start a quarterback. O'Connell showed some flashes. Gardner Minshew in his career has shown some flashes. I mean, remember at the beginning with Minshew Mania, that was the thing. But again, he feels like a backup to me, and honestly, so does O'Connell. Someone will be the starter. I would think if it wasn't for the changes in the front office and the coaching aspect of things, I would feel O'Connell would be the leader and maybe the clear-cut leader. I think when you bring quarterbacks back, barring some substantial trade, and I don't think that is, or new name coming in, I don't feel that way with Minshew, that it would have been O'Connell's job. But the GM that brought him in or signed him, and the coach that just had him before last year, I know at the end of the year, Antonio Pierce was there, but it's a different regime. Let's kind of start that way for the Raiders. So I don't think there's any loyalties there for O'Connell. And a lot of times you want to keep that continuity from the team you had before, even if it's a non-playoff team. So I think Minshew is going to have every opportunity to win that job. He's got a little more experience. I think there's a little bit more to his game. And if I had to make a prediction, I think it's Minshew. And then I think this team in 2025 is drafting or trading for a quarterback, a franchise QB. I mean, they just have to. They need one, right? Once they moved on from Carr, they thought Jimmy G would be the bridge QB. That didn't work out, and they've got to find him. And so that they're still in the search for that. Now, the one that I think will probably be the most entertaining and spicy for most people, just based on their names and what they've meant to the NFL so far in their careers, is Pittsburgh. Russell Wilson versus Justin Fields. Now, in their careers, Russell Wilson has definitely been the better quarterback. He's got the better resumes, got all that winning, career yards, just wildly successful. The last couple of years, he hasn't been the same quarterback, and that's not just in Denver. That was starting to happen at the end of his Seattle run. So I think the reasoning to get both quarterbacks made a lot of sense. I think Russell Wilson, if right, and his track record and what Mike Tomlin and Pittsburgh has been able to do with consistently finding ways to be 500 or above, they will threaten for the playoffs. I could see Russell Wilson probably being the one they lean towards, at least at the beginning. I think you also have to play the political game in this, and it's probably more beneficial ego-wise to kind of throw Wilson out there as your one, as a leader of the team, an experienced quarterback, a Super Bowl winner, and at 35, knowing that he's closer to the end than the beginning, I believe it's probably going to be his job. Now, there's already some early injuries, nothing that seems to be too substantial, but that could cloud the picture a little bit. When you think about Justin Fields, obviously the Bears invested a lot of time and resources in him, and at times he showed us a pretty skilled quarterback. We've got to remember, which I thought was crazy talk a year ago, but it was talk going on at this time 1 year ago, that people were talking about him as someone that could be in the MVP race. I thought that was absurd. Like, what is the push for Justin Fields being an MVP? I don't think the Bears will be that great, and he's still got a lot of room to improve. But, you try to find someone new, try to catch an angle, and that seemed to be something that got a little bit too far ahead of itself last year with a lot of media members. But now he's thought of differently because he's competing at 25 versus the 35-year-old Russell Wilson, has less of a resume, but going to a ready-made team. I mean, this is a good football team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and a proud organization, a great culture, and a fantastic coach, and they're trying to find the right quarterback to get it done. And again, I think as from ego to reputation to history to career marks, I think everything probably should and will likely point to Russell Wilson being the quarterback. But I think any slippage, certainly any injury, you go to Justin Fields and you feel comfortable with that. And maybe Fields is the longer-term play, or we also figure out at some point maybe Pittsburgh in practices and film study and preseason games and whatever opportunity gets in a regular season, they'll also figure out yay or nay on that, whether he is a part of their future. So I think if you look at the big picture of the five, in my mind, the five true quarterback battles, the two most intriguing ones to me are with the Raiders and with the Steelers. And then when you've got Minnesota, Denver, and New England, I don't know that any of those three that they drafted between McCarthy, Nix, and May that I feel like they're going to hit. I just don't know. And each draft class is a little bit different. I mean, you look at the draft class of 2022, and no, maybe it was 2021. Let me double check this because each one is a little bit different. The 2021 draft class, with 5 picks in the first round, I mean, how would you evaluate this? Trevor Lawrence, so he's gotten that second contract, the number 1 overall pick with Jacksonville. Successful. Zach Wilson, Jets, already gone. Trey Lance, 49ers, already gone and is a backup. Zach Wilson, already gone, is likely a backup. Justin Fields, pick number 11, first round, already gone, likely a backup, may get some run. Mac Jones, already gone, is a backup. So the quest to find the QB can burn you. People are going to do it. They're going to have this urge to find the right guy, and you can obviously get burned. Then you go to just the year before, 2020. You look at the QB position. Joe Burrow, picked first. Very successful there. Tua Tagovailoa just got paid again. Number 5 overall. That one worked. Justin Herbert. That one worked. Number 6 overall. So that group had 3. Nope, there's a 4th first-round quarterback, and it's Jordan Love. So he took a different path. He had to sit. But those teams, I would say, hit on their quarterback. In fact, where they got wins, got production, and got another contract. But just 1 year later, all those first-round quarterbacks, and really it's Trevor Lawrence, the only one that you would say Jacksonville is pleased with. He's their franchise guy till proven otherwise, and they've paid him another contract, and they'll just try to build around him and see if Lawrence can help lead the way. So this group, I don't know. I don't know how much I believe in McCarthy, Nix, and May, but they're going to get their opportunities as part of their quarterback battles. And then certainly the battle that we're seeing with Pittsburgh and Vegas, not the same kind of situation as those other three. That's why I separated this way. But that's what teams are going to continue to do. And I think the Raiders should be in that spot this next draft, which whoever quarterback is projected to be the best in the 2025 class, you got to do your part to go out and get them and find them and draft them, whether you have to move up or if you have a bad year this year and you get in that spot where you're fortunate enough to draft him. I mean, all eyes are going to be on Caleb Williams in Chicago. He goes number one. That affords you to move on from a guy like Justin Fields. But you don't want to be in a position like the Jets were, right, where you draft Sam Darnold. He's our guy. Okay, he's not. Draft Zach Wilson. He's our guy. Okay, he's not. Now you have Aaron Rodgers, and at some point you're going to do it again. And teams keep doing this process unless they can find one early, hit on that young draft pick, and then they've got a guy for 10 years. There's in-between teams that haven't quite figured it out. I think the biggest case study of the in-between is the Giants. Daniel Jones, they drafted him high. They've put a ton of money and investments into him. I would say it hasn't worked out, but they're kind of trapped because you've invested in him already, gotten that big pay contract. I think that was a mistake based on results, but you're probably not moving him. There's not a big desire to have him on your roster because if you get him on your roster, he's most likely a team's backup, and you're still paying him as a high-priced starter without the results. So every team is kind of going through it unless you are fortunate enough to have a guy that keeps winning Super Bowls like Patrick Mahomes. All right, coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, we have got who's hot and who's not. We will go streaking. We will look at today's action in the Olympics, day 4. Steve Berman, the Bay Area sports guy, will join us at 8:15. And when we come back, let's talk a little bit about Major League Baseball's trade deadline. What has happened so far? What still might happen ahead as we close in on the deadline later today? We will do that as we continue right here on Sacktown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
And here's Purdy going to throw one deep, wide for Debo. Made the catch on the back shoulder. Touchdown! San Francisco!
And a back shoulder banger for Debo Samuel.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Celebrate Sacramento Rivercats baseball during our 25th anniversary season. Pick your favorite weekly promotion, giveaway game, or theme night, and join the fun at Sutter Health Park. Stick around post-game every Friday and Saturday night as we light up the sky with the brightest fireworks in town. For a full promotion schedule and to buy tickets, visit rivercats.com. We'll see you there.
Whitey here, reminding you that not all gas grills are created equal. Bring out all the delicious flavors in your grilled meats with the amazing Napoleon Prestige and Prestige Pro line of outdoor cookers. My Napoleon Stainless Steel Pro Series gas grill has turned me into a grilling pro with features other grills cannot match. They're built different, built better, built to last. Made with premium stainless steel that boasts quality and a lifetime warranty. I may never want to cook indoors again. Napoleon grills and accessories are now available at your nearby Amy's, Ace Hardware in Sacramento, and now El Dorado.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sacktown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
All right, underway in the 8 o'clock hour here of the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Dave on vacation, still with family. You can check out his ventures on social media. Very public about what's going on in his vacation.
Looks like they went to Greg's.
Yeah? Yeah. And?
Good spot.
Oh, okay. You've been?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What's the best? What makes it good?
It's like they've got these sausage-filled pastries that are really good.
Okay. Was there any, and he's big on his food reviews. Did he say anything about it in any of his posts, or just that it was a good place?
He just took the kids there.
Okay. Hopefully Mason's all healed up from his bike accident. Rest of the family having a good time on their time off. Jason Ross, Christopher Laud here. Again, Steve Berman, Bay Area sports guy, is going to join us in about 15 minutes or so to talk all things about the San Francisco Giants and their approach to today's baseball trade deadline. Made a move yesterday, moving on from Jorge Soler and a couple other moves there. Just basically, it feels like there's some contract flexibility, some freedom there financially for the Giants, adding a couple of minor leaguers. But it just, which direction are they going? They really went right down the middle here on this. We're going to talk about that with Steve Berman in a moment. More on the trade deadline in a moment, too. I just saw this, Chris, today, and I don't even know what this will be. An interesting, generational question for, we have listeners of all sorts of ages here and viewers on our YouTube. I saw a post. This is the MTV anniversary week. I guess it debuted August 1st, 1981.
Oof.
And when I say MTV to you, what's MTV to you?
Music TV.
It was?
Yeah.
I mean, like, so you were,
I remember
music videos, kind of appointment watching in that realm.
I remember when Michael Jackson's History album came out, and the big countdown was
for his Thriller, or not Thriller.
It's a Scream with Janet Jackson. It's like, oh, they've never done a music video together.
Yeah.
And then leading up to it, they were doing like all of his music videos throughout the year, which is kind of funny because for a long time they weren't putting Michael Jackson videos on there. I believe David Bowie said something about that.
Oh, wow. I know that, well, I don't know for certain, but I think majority of songs that still come out, they do make videos. It's just, it's different. You have to
It's
go
on
to
the
YouTube.
YouTube page.
Yeah. And,
oh, man, the Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us video.
Yeah.
Oh.
And all these things, I mean, it's different. Times change. And that was, I don't know if that just hit perfectly. Early 80s. To the youth of America at that point, it's, music of that decade. Let's make it with these, videos that get more and more crazy over time. And just, it became like a regular thing just to have on in the background and now they literally don't show any videos.
So I remember it started becoming a mix when I started watching MTV because there'd be the music videos. That was like the main thing. And then there was the Rock and Jock games, which was the best. I really wish they would bring that back.
I was never into what a lot of people then turned into was what was Carson Daly show, TRL or something?
Oh, TRL.
Yeah, like that. For certain people, like, oh, I gotta watch it. I was like, that just wasn't for me.
That wasn't even like I have to watch it. It was just like I'm home from school.
Yeah,
that's what you watch.
Yeah. So it started to transition into more like interviews and different things, and let's get more people involved. So now it's just, I think, isn't it just all reality shows?
Yeah. The one show I loved on there was True Life.
I don't even know what that was.
Oh, it would be like, so like one of them was, it was like eating. I don't know if it was like, it wasn't like an eating disorder. It was like people that were trying to put on weight. And one was like a jockey or whatever. And he was trying to put on weight because he was pretty small. Then I think there was like a wrestler. He was trying to put on weight because he was trying to get bigger and stuff like that. So it's like these like day in the life type of shows.
And I don't know if it's officially the first one, but Real World was kind of the thing that kind of took off some of the reality shows.
I never watched Real World though. Like I knew the stuff.
Yeah, I knew people because people would talk about it. You knew some of the names and like
The Miz famously from the Real World.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's where he started?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
He would come on and he'd do promos as the Miz. I'm the Miz.
As far as videos, is there any that like just like still to this day you remember I mean, I guess there's so many that I remember. If I hear a song a lot of times that, especially from back in the 80s, the video just plays in my head.
Thriller.
Yeah.
That's
one.
Just
iconic.
What's the one where there's like paint getting thrown all around?
I don't know. I don't know what that is. That someone out there, YouTubers or texters, can help us with that. But yeah, 19.
Oh, all of like the Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg videos.
Oh yeah, classic. I like when they use cities as backdrops, whatever it might be, cameos. Just a different time. That's for sure. So 1981, August 1st, MTV debuted. All right, so the baseball trade deadline is today. We've had quite a bit of movement so far. And again, a lot of times people look for the substantial, massive all-star type name to change teams. That doesn't always happen, but there has been movement from teams that are buying. Dodgers have been aggressive, the Brewers, the Astros, the Yankees, and I still think these teams are going to continue to do more. And when you look at teams looking to be aggressive at the trade deadline, I know the Yankees are one of them. And if you think about some of these teams, if you've got an opportunity to win the World Series or to be a team that could win the World Series, you've got to go for it. I mean, you just have to. You don't want to miss these chances. And look, as a Yankee fan, I'll speak for them. And I was talking to our own Frankie Cardicelli here, who's a Yankee fan as well, and he's so right on this. The Yankees at one point were baseball's best team. They've been scuffling a bit here lately. But you're in a spot where you've got Aaron Judge still in his prime. You've got Juan Soto for this year at the moment. You're trying to do what you can to make him happy. You got Garrett Cole, a top-notch pitcher. You've got a really good chance, if everything goes right, to win the World Series. You've had some injuries. You've fallen apart a little bit. So you've got to be aggressive. You can't just go, lay back. Let's see. I don't know if Baltimore will do much. Cleveland, Houston. We'll get out of it. Well, Houston is always aggressive. They've been your nemesis in the postseason before. And you've got to be on the aggressive, I think, and also prove to the guys that you've got that you're in it to win it. And I think their subtle move, maybe not so subtle, of getting Jazz Chisholm the other day and produced an amazing result yesterday with 2 home runs in his Yankee debut. Those are the kind of things you're hoping to be a spark, a new bit of energy, maybe a younger player with a little flair, a little swag. That's something the Yankees could use. And so if your other teams like the Giants, who made their move, moving on from Soler, getting him back to the Braves, a team he was successful with, the Giants, acquired some help in return, also moved on from Jackson. But I feel like they're straddling the fence here of concepts and of ideas of which way they want to go. I have suggested, and I still think the right play is they should be sellers. They should be. And I think they could do it in a way where they're selling aggressively and yet still kind of maintain their position as kind of faux pretenders to be in the wild card race. And it still could work. I mean, maybe even the moves clean some things up, get some guys some opportunities and some ABs that just produce better results. And with that pitching, maybe that's enough to get him into one of the wild card spots. So selling can be looked at as a necessary evil, but it doesn't have to be evil. It also might be the right move. If the Giants just keep their roster as is and think because of their favorable schedule that they have ahead, that's all they had to do is kind of wait this out, I feel like it's a missed opportunity. And when you have chances to strike, if the deals are right, I think the Giants should do it because they're in that no man's land. They're not a terrible team, but are they great? No. What are they good at? I think, again, you close your eyes, you squint, you look at the roster, you go, okay, if we could get Snell, Robbie Ray, and Logan Webb all dealing and we get in a series, I like our chances. I would too. That's the best scenario. But are they going to hit enough? Is the back end of the bullpen going to be strong enough? Are you just want to be there? Or do you want to do what the teams of 2010, 12, and 14 did, get hot at the right time, work their way through, and somehow get out of there with a World Series? I'm sure everybody would sign up for that and want that. But are there any even hints that this team could do that? I would say no. And then what is also the future of this team? Where are they going? So I think they need to find more things that point towards the future and if they don't want to give up on the present, that's okay. But they need to be thinking future. And I just, they can't keep coming up second, kind of go all in on Bryce Harper, on Aaron Judge, on Shohei Ohtani, which were the right things to do. But when you keep coming up second, I think part of the coming up second is a little bit of who they are and what they are. They haven't really committed to a direction or youth in that sense, or like, hey, look, I'm coming there because they've got 4 or 5 exciting young players I want to play with. I just don't think they have that. And so will they address that today? I think they should. I think they should look into that. But I just don't know that they will in the closing hours of the trade deadline. So that's something to watch today. Blake Snell, again, no harm in keeping him, but what are the offers for Blake Snell? How desperate will some of these other teams be? And can the Giants figure out a way to pull the trigger? The other part of it is, and we'll ask this to Steve Berman coming up in our next segment, Bay Area sports guy. I think everybody believes Farhan's job is on the line, but you still have to do your job to your best. You can't try to protect yourself because I think the best way for him to maybe keep it is to maybe make that bold move that a lot of people go, wow, Giants did that. Good for them. I don't know if he's going to pull that off. So that's something we will discuss with him coming up. Also still in this hour, as we mentioned, who's hot and who's not. Let's go streaking and day 4 of the Olympics. But we want to get to our guest, Steve Berman. We will hook up with him when we come back here on Sacktown Sports.
Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Sacramento, Dirks Bentley's coming to town. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends. Parmalee, Tyler Rich, Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPFest.com. Brought to you by The Scoundrel Red Wine, Naturewood Home Furnishings, and Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers.
I'm a very active person that likes to move around and go. The pain I was in was really excruciating. It was actually debilitating. I was basically heading towards a sedentary lifestyle. I had really tried everything, but I quickly lost hope with all of the things that we had tried, and that's what led me to the Good Feet store. And when I found the Good Feet system, it really just changed everything. It brought me back to life. I have my active lifestyle back.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Carmichael Dave.
He has very good sources, and he just kind of tells it as it is and gets to the point.
Jason Ross.
He has a lot of pretty smart things to say. He's good at what he does.
On Sacktown Sports.
We're going to have an Olympic update coming your way in a few minutes. Simone Biles in the women's gymnastics team takes the stage today. Medal count update, like we said. Jimmer's going to be on the court. We'll talk about him coming up in a few moments. But baseball's trade deadline a few hours away. Giants make a move of sorts yesterday. They're in that no man's land right now. They got a favorable schedule coming up, and let's talk a little bit more about them from The Athletic, the Bay Area sports guy, Steve Berman, joining me, Jason Ross, here on the show. Steve, good morning. How are you?
I'm great, Jason. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. I loved your response last night to the news of the Giants moving on from Luke Jackson and Jorge Soler. You said, I give Farhan this. He is elite when it comes to getting rid of his worst acquisitions. I guess it's okay to move on, but what was your overall thought on the Giants deal last night?
Well, I think it was surprising just the fact that they were able to trade Soler. I know that he's been hitting a lot better lately, and the RBI chances he hasn't really come through on, but he's been getting on base. He's been hitting doubles and home runs. So then the Braves saw that. They're in a little bit of a moment of desperation right now. A lot of people are actually wondering if the Braves are going to do anything during the deadline. They know Soler from that 21 World Series season, and they also knew Luke Jackson, who for the most part this season until his last few outings has been pretty bad for the Giants. Giants fans have been complaining pretty much anytime Bob Melvin calls for him to pitch. And the fact that they were able to get rid of both of them, they didn't really get much back. They got Tyler Matzek, who also used to pitch for the Braves in the 21 World Series, and a low A prospect, third baseman. I mean, really nothing much. But the main thing about it that was surprising was that they were able to do it while the Braves paid all of Soler's salary, and he's signed for 2 more years. So it kind of reminds me of the Mitch Haniger thing. He realized, Farhan, that wasn't really working out too well, and was able to part with him and Anthony DeSclafani, another guy who looked pretty good for 1 year, and then after he got his contract, looked pretty poor and was injured all the time. Traded them for Robbie Ray, and Robbie Ray, even with his one start, is worth more than what Mitch Haniger and Anthony DeSclafani had done this year. So I guess Farhan, you could call out some weaknesses in what he does, but he understands the sunk cost thing. When there's a sunk cost, he gets rid of those players, and he's somehow able to do it pretty well.
Yeah, and for the Braves to pay that, like you said, I think it's 26, 28 million, whatever is remaining. That's a pretty big number for them to take on. The other part it may open up, besides, like you said, not bringing a whole bunch in return, the thought is that Luciano now will get maybe more of an opportunity, but they could have done that already. So what is your thought on maybe that chance for him now?
Yeah, I think what they had was sort of just a roadblock there, because Luciano is kind of a butcher in the field. So they've been trying to give him time at second base, and because shortstop, obviously, when he was up in the majors, was not good. So they're trying to get him some reps at second base in the minors. I'm not really sure how well he did there. I don't think that he was really lighting the world on fire defensively at second base either. Thought it's been for a long time that he probably was too big for shortstop and would end up in a corner outfield position. But I'm not really sure where he would play in the corner outfield. So they're going to give him some run at DH here, which is kind of interesting for a player this young and athletic. But they figured that the bat's playing, and they can get rid of Soler's money, and to a lesser extent Luke Jackson's. And, who knows? This might be a play to try to get under the luxury tax at some point, too. If they're able to trade Michael Conforto, maybe that gets a little easier.
Yeah, that's where I was wondering, because, the money part of this jumped out to me, because it's like, okay, obviously, if someone will pay for it, you do it, but why? What's the reasoning behind that? So, at 53 and 55, Steve, technically they're in the race, but everybody is for the most part. They have a favorable schedule coming up, but I feel like they're kind of going right down the middle here, not selling, not buying. What do you think the rest of the day will entail for the Giants?
Yeah, it's probably going to be a little bit of a mix of buy and sell. They don't really need to add a starting pitcher, which puts them in a pretty unique situation among all of these contenders. It seems like everybody needs at least one starter. They could maybe use a high leverage bullpen arm, but those are so expensive right now in this market. You have to give up a few good prospects to get a decent reliever. The offense hasn't really been tremendous, but I'm not really sure what they can really do to turn themselves around, other than just sort of stand pat and hope that the starting pitching carries them. The thing is, though, it's just tough because they looked so awful in Colorado and in Los Angeles, save for a couple of games. The starting pitching is looking a lot better right now, but they slipped 4 games against the Rockies, and the Rockies outside of Colorado are terrible. So is that really a reason to say, okay, we thought they were going to be sellers 4 days ago, but now we decided to change our minds? That seems like kind of a rash decision, but I'm not really sure how many avenues they have. Blake Snell obviously is the big ship that they have, but his contract situation with the player option next year that he probably is going to decline, and the money that would be involved there, I don't know how many teams are really in the market for that. So I still think it's possible that Snell gets dealt today, just because the chances of that he would leave and the Giants would get nothing for him after the season, that would kind of hurt, because they gave up draft picks to sign him and Matt Chapman. So you want to recoup some of that if you can, but I'm not really sure if other teams are going to say, okay, well, we don't really want the risk and the money. But Tariq Skubal from Detroit and Garrett Crochet from the White Sox, they might get traded today, but they might not. If they don't get traded, then Snell is the best pitcher available.
Yeah, and he's coming off maybe just an unreal outing. Obviously, the Giants were hoping to have more of that this year, whether it was a slow start or injuries. I mean, that's the part, Steve, and I've been saying as we're talking with Steve Berman from the Athletic Bay Area Sports Guy, that if you kind of look at what the best of the Giants could be, if they could somehow find their way in and get into a series, and you're going with Webb, Snell, and Ray, no matter how inefficient their hitting has been, it's like that's kind of what wins in the postseason. Like, you could see how that could work. It's just, can they get there the way they've been playing this year?
Yeah, they have a lot of road games left, and the Giants have not been very good on the road. Their schedule is pretty nice, but, it's baseball. You can't really, other than the Rockies on the road, you can't really call any series a likely win nowadays. I mean, they're going to be facing the A's, and the A's are the A's, but the A's are, can be spunky every once in a while too, and those games usually are a little bit weird between the Giants and the A's. So, yeah, I don't know. I've thought for weeks now that they should sell and try to recoup some value from whatever they can here. But then you also have to look at it too, is that Farhan is probably has a pretty tenuous hold on his job. He was extended after last season, but that doesn't really matter that much. They really extended him so that him and Bob Melvin would be in unison in terms of their contract length. But if this thing goes poorly and they don't make the playoffs, and you're looking at it from the Giants ownership perspective, they have spent a ton of money right before the season that I'm not really sure they expected to, but they wanted to make sure that their attendance stayed up, and they also got some gate receipts from playoff games. I mean, you see that in every league right now. The NBA teams, when they don't get those home receipts from playoff games, they get a little bit cranky after the season. I think the Giants ownership might as well. So if you're Farhan and you are really kind of on the hot seat here, do you want to sell just to help whoever is the next guy to get your job? Or do you want to see if you can put all your chips in and make the playoffs and save your job?
Yeah, it's a really interesting point. And I know it's a tough question, but I'll ask you as almost like a prediction. If you had to handicap that, you think Farhan has the job at the end of this, after the season?
I would say yes. I mean, it seems like they do like what he does in a lot of ways. And I think a lot of that may be in terms of development and things like that. But also, he's kept costs, other than this season, really, he's done a really good job at keeping costs down compared to his predecessor. And I think that's what Giants ownership has wanted. But this season was a little bit different because they could tell that fans are starting to get very, very anxious about, just how boring the product was over the past couple of seasons. And so they tried to make some exciting signings, and Jung-Hoo Lee getting hurt was a crusher, but fans are really, kind of getting attached to him pretty early on, even though he wasn't hitting that great. He just sort of had a flair for the way that he played that fans liked. I think Soler was kind of a signing in that same vein, kind of a dynamic power hitter, some guy that might hit 30 home runs, which the Giants haven't had since Barry Bonds. And so I think that they were, and Matt Chapman's a guy everyone knows from around here too. I think they were trying to do stuff to excite the fan base. And, I think they're going to look at the totality of it and say, okay, we'll give you one more chance here, but it's not set in stone here. I mean, a lot of it's going to depend on what he does over these next, next 7 hours or so. And then what the team does the rest of the way. I don't think it's set in stone, but if I had to bet, I would say that he's back next year.
Why do you think your best answer, Steve, on why they've been, I guess, the runner-up here in the last 3 or 4 years on, Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge, I guess in the running for Shohei, but they haven't been able to close those deals?
Well, I think that when you're talking about hitters don't really want to play at Oracle Park. And to me, that's the main thing. I think all the stuff about the city of San Francisco is completely ridiculous. I mean, maybe some of a few players out there, look at, the reputation of San Francisco and maybe wouldn't quite want to play there, but money talks. But also if you put that with the stadium is the main thing. it's a beautiful place to go watch a game, right? But it's cold. You know, I remember when Carlos Beltran was on the team when they traded for him in 2011, and I was in the clubhouse when he was talking to the media, and it was after a pretty cold night game, and he was just straight up complaining about how cold it was and how he didn't like hitting there. And I think that combined with the park's dimensions, I mean, if you're a left-handed hitter and you're hitting them out to triples alley, you don't want triples. You know, you want home runs. So I think that the fact that the ball doesn't really carry at night and it's cold, I think that players don't really want that. And so you have to really outbid teams. So just tying the highest bid is not going to be enough for any sort of position player. Pitchers you can get, but this is an organization that generally has shied away from giving long-term contracts to pitchers ever since the ones they gave to Johnny Cueto and Jeff Samardzija. The ownership didn't really like how those went so much. So pitchers, they want to sign to 2-3 year deals, 4 at the absolute max. And then position players, they just don't want to outbid everyone by a large margin. They did that with Carlos Correa, but then, you know, the medical said that his ankle was going to be a problem, you know, years down the line. And so they cut bait on that deal.
And so in our final couple of hours here, I know we talked earlier about Snell as someone to kind of watch. Any other things that Giants fans should be watching as far as potential guys that could be on the move today? Maybe stuff under the radar?
I think Conforto is definitely a guy who, you know, the Giants would probably like to deal, because sort of in the same vein as Soler, you know, you can give more time to guys like Luis Matos. No one's really talked about this, but you know, and I really don't think it would happen, but it wouldn't shock me if Chapman was another one too, because Chapman is another guy who could opt out after the season. I think he's played well enough to do so. I think he showed that, you know, his defense still plays really, really well, and his hitting, while it's not amazing, is consistent. And I don't know if the Giants want to risk him leaving and getting nothing in return on that one too, although I do think that one is highly unlikely. I think they'll listen on guys like Lamont Wade and Wilmer Flores. I don't think Flores has any value whatsoever, though. Wade is a guy, though, I think that might be someone that they could trade because of what's going on with, other teams, and especially like a team like the Yankees might be interested in a guy like Wade. But yeah, I think Conforto is probably the guy top of the list in terms of, if you said, okay, one guy is going to get dealt today, that would be my guess. Yeah, and then as it goes, I know you mentioned the favorable schedule. It starts with Oakland today, but I mean, Cincinnati, Washington, Detroit, Oakland again, Chicago's in there, and the Braves. I mean, this next about 3 to 4 weeks has to be an opportunity where they make the move. I know the deadline will be gone, but if there's any hope of getting in that wild card race really at the end, the schedule's there. It's just, will they perform that way? And hopefully they can rely on that pitching, because to me, that hitting has been too up and down. But like I said, Steve, I think that the schedule gives them a chance. Whether or not they got enough, I guess, remains to be seen. Yeah, it looks to me like it's kind of like last year, really, in the National League, which is, just a lot of kind of mediocrity in the middle there. Yeah. But the problem is that there are so many teams that are all competing. So you have to imagine that one or two are going to go on a run, and those are the teams that are going to be like the Diamondbacks last year, who went on a run late and were able to edge out the Cubs and the Reds and a few other teams. The Giants could be that team, on the back of their pitching, then go on a run, win 15 out of 20, that kind of thing. That'll pretty much get you there. But, if the Giants play, middling ball, 500 or so, I think there'll be one or two other clubs that play better and go on a little hot streak and nudge them out. It's going to be fun to watch, to see how it all plays out, Steve. Keep up the great work there at The Athletic as the Bay Area sports guy. We thank you so much always for joining us, and we'll see how this plays out. Thank you so much. Thanks, Jason. All right, thank you. Steve Berman, Bay Area sports guy, works for The Athletic, covering the Giants, covering baseball. And, yeah, we got to watch Farhan's future, the Giants' short-term future. Will they be aggressive? And, again, I still think Snell is a guy that they should really, really look at because of the potential of losing him. Also, Chapman. He mentioned Chapman. I think that is a sneaky one to watch as a Yankee fan, and what New York is trying to figure out infield-wise. Like, that, he would be a really good addition to the Yankees. I don't know what it would cost New York, but if the Giants can make some of these moves, again, I still think they could be sellers and maintain their position. I mean, I really do, in this kind of in the race element that they're in, and where they stand today as far as the wild card race up to the minute. They are currently in the 4 games out. Braves are in the top wild card spot. Mets and Padres have the other 2 spots.
but they would still have to leapfrog the Pirates, the Cardinals, and the Diamondbacks. The Reds and Cubs are also right behind them, getting a little further with the Nationals, and then Marlins and Rockies are basically out. But a good couple of weeks with a favorable schedule. I could see them making a run, but this team has been screaming 500 all year long, right? 53 and 55 now. They've been 6 below. They've been above 500, but it's about an 80 to 85 win team to me at best. 85 might be enough, but we'll see what they do today if they can do anything to help themselves. All right, day 4 of the Olympics. It's going on now. USA, we're watching them play in water polo. We also got equestrian going on. We got all sorts of sports going on. But some other things you need to check out today. We'll give you a medal count update. It's a big day for Simone Biles. And Jimmer is back. Kings fans, remember him? I'm rooting for Jimmer and Team USA. We'll talk about his quest with the 3x3. We'll do that and more next.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
They're going to give it. No, it's a play action. Purdy going to roll left, throw for the end zone. Caught by George Kittle. He has the hat trick tonight, a career high. 3 touchdown catches for George. Touchdown, San Francisco.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Quick Quack Car Wash takes the drama out of keeping your car clean.
Let's wash the car. Don't spray the hose inside the car.
Our convenient wash packages make it easy to get your car soaked, scrubbed, and on your way. Protect your car from sun, rain, and pollen with a ceramic duck wash and get our in-wash light show and an unbeatable clean.
Oh, the kids filled the gas tank with water.
Of course they did. Quick Quack Car Wash. Come in today and get 25% off any wash.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
We golfers tend to grumble too much. Golf Monthly's Nick Bonfield compiled our biggest complaints. They include our own game. The refrain, is it going to be another one of those days, should maybe be realigned and set about the next shot with positivity. Next is our equipment. We always blame our tools even though they were just along for the ride. Course conditioning is another gripe, and maybe you should try getting up while it's still dark, whether it's 108 or 32 degrees, and deal with global warming, limited budgets, and sustainability. And then go hug your superintendent for what they do. Dress codes get a lot of attention. Some feel the tradition should be maintained, and others are comfortable in T-shirts. It's a game, people. Also in the mix are rules of golf, slow play, the World Handicap System, tee time booking systems, bad luck, and more. I say you get out of it what you're willing to put into it. You're on a golf course, your phone's not ringing, and you might make a birdie or two. Enjoy the moment. There's lots of time left in the day for complaints. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
On Sacktown Sports.
I think the Olympics have been a fun watch. It's been I've been all over it as much as I can. Again, in the studio, we have a couple televisions. We got the USA team in water polo, men's team, and I think this is officially called, what do they call this for? Gotta look up the way they equestrian dressage. Not as interested in that one, but it's on. But today's a big day. You already had Coco Gauff competing. There's some controversy there. Katie Ledecky was absolutely dominant today in the pool. She was in that long distance swim. I don't remember how many meters it was, but I think they said, Chris, she won by, and it was a qualifying or whatever. Maybe it was a semi. I'm not sure where it was, a heat, but she won by 17 seconds.
She crushes everybody
in those long distance. Yeah, she lost. She got the gold. The bronze, and that other pretty, I would say, shorter distance. It was still, I think, 800. But in this long distance, she's just incredible. And that one I've seen before, and I think maybe it was the last Olympics where she literally like lapped somebody.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh man. Like, how am I doing? Oh, I got another up and back to go, and Ledecky's finishing.
She lapped an Olympic athlete.
I know. So when you think, oh, I could do that, she lapped a world-class athlete from another country. My goodness. Things today to be watching, and a lot of people will be checking out women's gymnastics. That's one of the headliners of the Olympics, as it usually is. I was talking earlier about how great of a thrill it was for me personally to watch the men's gymnastics last night. They got the bronze, and they celebrated like no other. They'd broken a record for the drought, I should say, for Team USA men's gymnastics. But it was true essence of sports, how happy they were as teammates, as individuals, and they were just so thrilled to place, to get on the podium. And it was a really fun watch last night. So the women with way more pressure, Simone Biles with a ton of pressure. That will be something to watch today. As far as the medal count goes, up to date, let's see. The most overall medals belongs to the U.S. at 20, but golds goes to Japan and the Republic of China. They both have 6. U.S. overall has 3 gold medals, 8 silver, and 9 bronze. So most medals, but not, still have Korea, Australia, France, Japan, and Republic of China with more golds than Team USA. The triathlon has still been postponed with water issues on the river there, on the Seine River. That's interesting. I don't know if it's
stinky.
They're hoping it'll be better by tomorrow. Think about that. If you've trained, a triathlon is nothing but training, and then you go, oh, I didn't even get a chance to do my sport. They're still hoping that's gonna go. The other one today is a relatively new sport to the Olympics: basketball, 3-on-3, 3x3, and Jimmer is in it. And to me, Jimmer Fredette was such a likable king. Got to know him over the little bit of time he was in Sacramento, and his pro career just never quite materialized. I should say NBA career, because professional career has been fine overseas, has been dominant at times in Japan. But Chris, I like stories like this, like him and Chase Budinger. Budinger, who was an NBA player, now is playing beach volleyball and doing just fine. But I think it would be awesome if Jimmer would medal.
He has to come here, right?
What do you mean, to honor that medal?
Like the Kings have to
invite
him in.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I mean, how is he not getting massive love here as an Olympic champion, former king, likable guy? I don't know why he would be here, but if the Kings invited him and had him sit center court for a game.
Take you behind the curtain a little bit. I knew the subject was coming up, so I was going to come back with the Teach Me How to Jimmer song.
Uh-huh.
I started listening to it, and I forgot how cringy it was. I'm like, I can't play this.
Where was that from?
When he was in BYU.
Oh, they made one there?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't remember if it was...
I want to say it was like his senior year.
Okay. I didn't know if it was done here. That's
No, it wasn't done here.
Okay.
It wasn't a Matt George production.
I was hoping we weren't having to protect somebody locally here. But yeah, Jimmer Fredette 3x3. I mean, I think this is cool. The women's team I know had to transform a little bit because some of the people that they would have had on the team are on the main, Olympic team, the 5-on-5 standard men's basketball. But here he is, Jimmer Fredette on the 3x3 team and trying to win a gold or qualify, get a medal. And have you ever played in a 3-on-3 tournament?
Yes.
Hoop It Up, was that the one that used to have?
That's what it was.
Like the big one, and those are fun.
The thing I don't like is we were in the 3-on-3 tournament in the 6 feet and under.
Okay.
I'm like right at 6 feet.
Right.
One of our guys is like maybe 6'1", maybe.
Uh-huh.
And like the other 2 guys are like 5'9".
Uh-huh.
And we were dwarfed by everybody.
You're like, wait, 6 foot and under.
Yeah.
and they're not measuring.
And we're like this, or like with our buddy Andrew's like, oh man, like maybe like shrug down a little bit when we get up there.
Just slouch.
And just like we were towered over by everybody. It's like, come on.
Bending the rules a bit. If I'm not mistaken, in the 3-on-3, did we call our own fouls? Or was there an actual...
I want to say that there was
an official there?
Yes, there was a referee.
There was one. Okay. Because
this guy kept hitting me, and I said, "Are you going to say anything, or is this how it is?"
Yeah, because it was in my mind. I'm thinking, wait, did I play in some that called your own fouls, or maybe the further along you got, they had officials? Because that to me is a little bit problematic. That's one of the least appealing things about playing pickup, when some people are just like foul. Like anytime they miss, they get fouled. You're like, okay, you missed. I didn't touch you. What are we doing here? We're not. No one's going pro. Let's just get some exercise and have some fun, and not get into some fight here. We don't need to do that. But yeah, Jimmer would be a great story to me if how well they do. That's supposed to debut today. There's some other fun things with today's Olympic schedule. But, when you've got Team USA gymnastics, that's a headliner. Swimming still has a few more days, and then track will take over. They'll still maintain the biggest kind of power plays amongst Olympics and fans and support. So look forward to that. But yeah, wishing the best for Jimmer Fredette. And I like your idea, Chris. Even if he doesn't medal, I still think they could bring back Jimmer. But if he does medal, let's make a Jimmer Fredette day in Sacramento and bring him back and have him sit courtside.
No, it only works with gold.
We're gold. We're gold or less. And, gold or nothing, Jimmer. If not, maybe he's sitting in the upper deck and there's just a brief video showing of him. That's it. But you win the gold. You're courtside right next to Vivek, maybe watching a prime Kings game, and we'll give you some love. But good for Jimmer, still chasing the dream, and now trying to represent Team USA and win the 3x3. All right, when we come back, still more to get to in this hour, including the question of who's hot. We'll counter that with who's not. The show streak is not impressive right now. Dave is at 0. Chris is at 0. I'm at 6. Does that streak continue? We'll go streaking and more straight ahead here on Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports. Febreze.
So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Why'd the kid jump off the boat? I don't know. Why? Peer pressure. Oh, good one, Ned.
Ned isn't funny, but Ned owns a boat, and you don't. So every time Ned tells another one of his unfunny boat puns, you're going to laugh loud and keep on laughing until you get a boat of your own.
A pier where you put a boat. Yeah, I get it.
And when you do get a boat of your own, make sure you save money by bundling it with your home, auto, or other vehicles with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Ah, the sweet feelings of summer. The kiss of warm sun on your skin. The softly scented breeze blowing through the trees. Don't worry, you have Off Clean Feel, fragrance-free mosquito repellent that feels good on skin, so even mosquitoes can't ruin those sweet feelings of summer. Off Clean Feel, Prevention is the best protection from mosquitoes.
Celebrate Sacramento Rivercats baseball during our 25th anniversary season. Pick your favorite weekly promotion, giveaway game, or theme night, and join the fun at Sutter Health Park. Stick around post-game every Friday and Saturday night as we light up the sky with the brightest fireworks in town. For a full promotion schedule and to buy tickets, visit rivercats.com. We'll see you there.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost, or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
What's hot and what's not? Brought to you by American Energy Heat and Air, making the uncomfortable comfortable. Head to AmericanEnergyAir.com to find out more.
What's hot?
Yeah, hot. Real hot. And what's not?
It's not good. Brought to you by American Energy Heating and Air, Sacramento's complete heating and cooling company, and second opinion partner.
All right, Christopher Ladd. Who is hot?
Ellie De La Cruz.
Ellie.
He is the 5th Major League Baseball player in the modern era to have 70-plus runs and 55 or more stolen bases in a season before the end of July, and the first since Ricky Henderson in 1988.
He's really exciting. I think he stole 4 bases the other day. He's hot. He's I know probably in Cincinnati they love him. I'm not saying he has to get into a different market. That's not the story at all. But I hope people are appreciating how exciting of a young player he is. All right, so he's hot. That means we have to have somebody that's not.
Jamal Murray.
What?
In 24 minutes of Canada's 93-83 win over Australia today, he was 2 of 7, only 5 points for the national team.
Did he get benched by Jordy Fernandez?
Oh, he doesn't play.
Who?
Jordy.
No. But he's the coach. Okay. Maybe he'll be replaced on his regular team by Russell Westbrook.
Oh.
I doubt that. His job is pretty secure there. All right, so that's who's hot. Who's not? Let's do it. Let's go streaking.
It's time to go streaking.
We're going streaking! Yeah!
Who is the Nostradamus of MLB? Who can keep the streak going? It's time to go streaking.
What the hell are you doing?
Streaking. All right, have you reached out to Carmichael Dave yet for his pick?
Oh, I better do that.
Yeah. Well, Carmichael Dave was at 0. I was at 6. Christopher Ladd was at 0. So the show was doing pretty well, and then we hit a halt. And now we're going to see if we can regroup with picking successful guys to get a hit in the game. That's the way the game works. And then if you pick the guy, you can't pick him again while you're on that streak. So for Chris and Dave, they could pick from anybody that was playing yesterday. And Dave selected Bobby Witt Jr. Bobby Witt is having a great year. The Royals were playing baseball's worst team, the Chicago White Sox. The Royals got 15 hits, scored 8 runs. So Dave was feeling pretty good about his chances. 5 plate appearances for Bobby Witt Jr. He went 4 for 5. Jeez. It only counts for 1 game hitting streak, but impressive. Also 2 runs scored, 4 RBI. The MVP race is really good in the American League. Bobby Witt's having a great year. Judge, Soto, it's good. It's a really good competitive race there. So Dave gets his hit. Chris, you were at 0. You could pick from anybody in Major League Baseball. And generally, when you get to 0, there's a theme with your pick. Has this been always the case? I think this year, almost for the most part. You go to Jarren Duran when you need a hit. Red Sox leadoff hitter, all-star. Well, Boston scored 14 runs.
All-star MVP.
Yeah, that's true. 16 hits. He got up 4 times, and they even pinch hit for him later. But he got up 4 times. He got 2 hits, 2 for 4, 2 runs scored, and an RBI. So Chris is now at 1. Dave is at 1. All eyes are on me, though. I mean, come on, let's get real. 6-game hitting streak, trying to surpass my show record from earlier in the year, which I believe got to, what, 16? 15, 16? It was pretty impressive. So I'm getting there, and I said, look, I'm going to take Stephen Kwan of the Guardians. This guy let me down earlier, but he's batting like 340. Guardians were in Detroit. Guardians scored 8 runs, got 9 hits, and my guy Kwan, 5 plate appearances, and he went 0 for 5.
Ooh, you suck.
Sorry, it's over. It's over now. It's over.
It's over. It's over, ladies and gentlemen.
Come on, Kwan. I think I've literally picked him twice, and both times he spoiled a streak.
Glass half full.
Yeah.
You get to pick whoever you want today.
You know what? That's a great point, Chris.
I can't.
No. I mean, you're limited in what you can do, as is Dave. That's the frustrating part. Then you just start all over again. It's the way it works. So I've got the whole field and everybody playing today. Yep. I got the trade deadline. I got to make sure I don't pick somebody that gets traded. But nothing from Dave yet?
Not yet.
Okay. So Dave's at 1. We'll see if we get his submission and entry a little bit later. Chris, who are you going with today? Anybody but Jarren Duran.
Alex Verdugo.
You're picking a Yankee? I like it. Alex Verdugo. I am also going to pick a New York Yankee, and he's brand new to the squad. Got 2 home runs yesterday. Jazz Chisholm was the Marlins. Now he's a New York Yankee. So there you go. We've gone streaking. We made our picks. We'll let you know what Dave picked when he submits that one and sends that one a little bit later. Trade deadline coming up a few hours from now. I know there'll be updates on that from throughout the afternoon, certainly with Styles and Watkins and the afternoon show, the Drive guys. They will keep you up to date on the very latest. If, in fact, there's any movement among anybody here in the major leagues, and certainly if the Giants do anything. A's and Giants, kind of looking ahead, Chris, like that's the Battle of the Bay. They've got this 2-game series in San Francisco. And I know they play each other pretty soon as well. Let me find when that next one is in Oakland. Yeah, in a couple weeks, they'll be in Oakland in Saturday and Sunday. How do you think that will play in Sacramento?
I feel like it's going to be a home game for the Giants.
So I don't disagree with you. I'm trying to think of, we're just going to take next year.
I feel like it's going to be a home team for a lot of other teams.
Yeah, but I think for some, you think it'll parallel what it is now. So like when the Yankees are in Oakland, it's filled with Yankee fans. Red Sox do the same, Dodgers, Giants. But I mean, the Rays don't. The White Sox, I don't think do. Like I feel like it's those big brand, maybe the Cardinals, maybe the Cubs. Red Sox.
Are the Cubs the first game here? Or do they go to Chicago?
Yeah, let's look that up because I think. See, now, which ticket to you would be a better ticket? Well, you're already going to the final game at the Oakland Coliseum. Is that a better ticket or the first game in Sacramento?
First game in Sacramento.
Is a better ticket to say you're part of the first game?
I mean, like, there's a chance that it's going to be like one of the only Major League Baseball games in Sacramento.
Well, true. I mean,
and like, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, there is a way that this won't be the last game in Oakland.
I think that's getting harder and harder to believe. But yeah, I mean, there still is a way. I mean, the second they get out of Oakland and they're here, then, I mean, I think we're looking at 3 to 4 years minimum here.
Minimum.
So let's see, next year's schedule. I know they have that out. Because it does ring a bell that when you're saying Cubs. Yeah, here we go. A's announce regular season. Because that to me would be a pretty good ticket to get. In Seattle. Yeah, host the Cubs in their inaugural game in West Sacramento at Sutter Health Park on March 31st. The interesting thing to me to see the dynamics of, because I think the A's attendance will be good for the smaller stadium. I think they'll do fine. If the Kings are in a scenario where they're making a playoff run or that's when the season's at its best for the NBA if the Kings are relevant. What the attendance would be like on the same time, because we haven't really been a city that, there's times all the time in the Bay Area where, oh my gosh, they had scenarios where the Raiders, Niners, and Warriors were all playing at the same time. Or the Giants were in the postseason and the Niners were at home but you could do it.
There was the time, Draymond Green got suspended and he went to the A's game.
That's right. He was across the way just watching, probably from the suite up in Oakland, the Coliseum, what his teammates were doing there. So, yeah, I think you're right in a sense, like here in Sacramento, when the A's are hosting the Yankees, the Cubs, the Dodgers, the Giants, there's going to be a heavy presence of those teams. But what I wonder is when the Diamondbacks are here and when who else is coming through here? The teams in the Rangers. I don't know how many A's hats and jerseys will be around, but I just feel like the attendance will be good, I think. And over time, do you think more people will become A's fans here locally or just baseball fans?
I think that because they know that it's finite, like it's most likely not going to stay here, it's going to be just baseball fans.
Yeah, I could see that.
Their owner is bragging about, hey, you're going to see Aaron Judge.
I know. He still doesn't know anybody on his own team. But if along the way any of that changes and momentum starts to shift towards a potential stay in Sacramento, I could see how that could change then. And people start buying.
If they were moving here, if like the A's are moving to Sacramento, Vegas is done right now. That was the news right now. I think that Sacramento will become A's fans.
Okay, let's paint the same scenario we've got. We don't know the timetable and with 100% certainty that they're coming, but we believe they're coming. And we believe a 3 to 4 year window. What if all of that is still in play without knowing what's next, but they were the Sacramento A's? I mean, the fact that they never changed that, I think that, I know that was off-putting for some.
Definitely for me.
Yeah, I mean, because then all of a sudden if you see, and I know Dave brought it up, he's like, I don't want to see Sacramento on the front of the jerseys for a team that's losing 100 games. I'm like, no, it's Sacramento. I don't care about that. I mean, I want them to win.
But also when he found out that it wasn't going to be Sacramento, he said, hey, what the hell?
Yeah, exactly. Why aren't you going to honor Sacramento? Are you not, I think that would be a little bit different too for people, a different landing spot if they were already coming in, even if it's for 3 to 4 years and they were called the Sacramento A's. I think that's something a lot easier for all of us to get behind. So we'll see. We'll see where that ultimately goes. All right. When we come back, we have our final hour of the day, and we will get into a little crosstalk with Styles and Watkins to wrap up the show. We'll have celebrity birthdays. We'll reset some of our top stories. But next, Niners at 9. People are freaking out over the first padded practice and some of the offensive numbers that Brock Purdy had. We'll tell you to relax a little bit on that. We'll go through some of those things and what to expect with Niners at 9 and that QB2 battle. They don't have a quarterback 1 battle. They got a QB2 battle. We'll discuss that and more straight ahead.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family.
that gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Sacramento, Dierks Bentley's coming to town. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends. Farmerly, Tyler Rich, Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPFest.com. Brought to you by The Scoundrel Red Wine, Naturewood Home Furnishings, and Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTK AM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sacktown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone. And then
boom, with Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
Final hour of today's episode of the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Continuing here. We'll keep you up to date on what's going on with the Olympics, live action, women's gymnastics. Simone Biles, one of America's heroes, getting ready to compete today. Watching 3-on-3 and rowing also going on at the same time right now. So 3-on-3 will be starting on the main channel here in a moment. And then women's gymnastics. So it's all over the place, whether it's Peacock, USA, MSNBC, I believe, and of course NBC. And I personally have liked the way they've packaged this because I do watch it most during the day, certainly during the timeline. I've been able to watch it during the morning show here. And then, nighttime, they kind of package it all for the best of the day. So you can get your choices. What I still haven't seen yet, Chris, and I've heard good reviews, and I can't believe I haven't done this. I'll do this when I get home today. But the Gold Zone, which has our guy Scott Hansen and Andrew Siciliano, much like the Red Zone, I've heard that's been really good, a good watch. I just haven't seen that yet.
I haven't seen it either.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to find that. And
I want to say it's on Peacock.
Okay, so I've got that. I'll check that out because it's just kind of bouncing around to the different venues and kind of like to see what all is going on. So we'll update you on what's going on a little bit later in this hour. Also, what to watch from today, this day in sports history, crosstalk to come. But it's 9:00. Want to start you out this hour with Niners at 9, as yesterday, the 49ers, they've been in camp for a few days. Still the main storylines are a wait and see on Brandon Ayuk as he's in the hold in, right? He's at camp. He's around the guys. He's around the team, just not practicing. And then Trent Williams, that's more of the holdout. They're both big deals. I feel like Williams is critical to the overall success of the team. Not that Ayuk isn't. You don't want to try to measure players in that way, but I mean, they absolutely need Trent Williams to be around. So I just feel like they'll work those contracts out. And I know Ayuk had that demand to be traded, but I don't know if that was just playing hardball, trying to work for some leverage. I think they'll all land in the same spot and work this all out just fine. So as the first padded practice, there's constant evaluation. The media is out there seeing who looks good and who needs some work, maybe some areas of strength, some areas of weakness. we're still in a spot for a lot of people, not me, but for a lot of people, where Brock Purdy still has to prove himself to some people. I think the Niners have their quarterback. I could predict already this year there'll be some games where maybe he won't be great, and people are like, I don't know if Brock Purdy's the man. It's his job. He's now at the point where he doesn't have to look over his shoulder. There's a quarterback 2 battle in camp, and that's between Brandon Allen and Josh Dobbs. So that's that situation. That's not anybody pushing him for the starting quarterback position. It's his position, his decision-making, his quick reads. I like the fact that you're hearing out of camp that he's bulked up a little bit more, built on his arm strength. And Brock Purdy has done enough to prove that he is the starting quarterback for this team. Now, for those of you that say he's reliant on his other weapons, I think every quarterback is. I think we're to a time and age where I don't know really how many quarterbacks truly overall elevate everybody else. I think we're looking at a small slice of the puzzle of the 32 starting quarterbacks, a very small slice that you go, man, that team could win with anybody just because of that quarterback. No matter what kind of line, no matter what kind of receivers and running back and skill players, that quarterback would get the most out of it. Now, I'm not talking about a Super Bowl. Like if Mahomes is on the worst rostered team, he's going to make them better. But we're not talking about a team that's winning the Super Bowl. So Brock Purdy has a great team around him. He does. That's not his fault. He complements them. He fits in, and he's part of that. He had a great season last year. So when he has the first padded practice yesterday and the results that are being measured, because, hey, you are being constantly evaluated. So some of the red zone numbers yesterday weren't that impressive for Brock Purdy. He threw an interception early when he tried to hit the new tight end Logan Thomas, went off him, popped up in the air, and then Fred Warner picked him off. Later, George Odom jumped in front of a throw to Deebo Samuel. This is all according to reports from friend of the show, constant guest, Matthew Barrows. He also threw another one where Deommodore Lenoir made a great play and picked him off. So there's good and bad here. That's always the thing. Like when Sac State football is about to start, I'll go out to camp, watch them, and a lot of people are like, how do they look? I said, well, that's always one of my harder evaluations, because if the offense is great, I'm like, man, the offense looked great, but I'm a little worried about the defense. Or vice versa, man, the defense was dominating the offense. I love what the defense did, but I'm a little worried about the offense. I mean, in camp, it's difficult. There are going to be days where the offense is better and days where the defense is better, and you're looking for the perfect marriage of both. But when you're playing against one another, they're going to shine. And in defense of Brock Purdy, yesterday at least, Trent Williams was out, Ayuk was out, McCaffrey was out. I mean, there's a lot of people missing. So it's a weird situation when that happens.
You would get worried if one side was dominating the entire time.
Every day.
Because then it'd be like, oh.
Yeah. Well, maybe we've got a great defense, but our offense has been awful. I don't think this is the case. Do you guys believe in the Niners defense? I do. Do you believe in the Niners offense? Yeah, when healthy, I do. So, and last year, I remember in camp, and when Brock Purdy was maybe still trying to prove himself a little bit, you also had Sam Darnold maybe pushing him a little bit more than the current group is. He threw some picks. He made some mistakes. He made some in the regular season, but when it really came down to it, Brock Purdy was pretty good with the football last year. Made good decisions. I would say of the time when I've been evaluating Brock Purdy, I thought in year one, where he had a better touchdown to interception ratio, that last, 6-7 games that he played, I thought he got away with a lot of throws. Like, sometimes you have bad luck, like the play I just described in the red zone where it's thrown off Thomas's chest plate, basically pops in the air and Fred Warner picks it off. It's still an interception, but that's bad luck. There's other times where I felt that first, whatever it was, when he replaced Jimmy G after he replaced Trey Lance 2 seasons ago, I thought Purdy threw a few that were up for grabs that he got fortunate with. Last year, he played with far more poise. And the interceptions were either great plays or, a mistake, but not to the same level where I felt like he was throwing a little bit more casually and carefree. Let's put it that way. So I think the guy has a full concept of the offense, another year here, has the weapons to thrive again. And I am not the least bit worried about his turnovers right now in training camp. Not the least bit worried. The second that John Lynch or Kyle Shanahan address that as an issue would be the time I would get worried about that. But the coaches are always going to want more and better and improvement, and they'll study film, as will Brock Purdy, and say what went wrong, what were you seeing, what were you leading to? And that, to me, is still one of the superpowers that quarterbacks have. The processing of the play you call while reading the defense that might change pre-snap, like they give you the look pre-snap, and you're going, okay, I see 4 down linemen. Looks like this corner's blitzing. I'm watching this linebacker and want to see where the safeties drop. That's a look they're showing you. Then the snap comes in. Whoop, it completely flipped. Now the other corner's blitzing. All the linemen are dropping back. I mean, just think about the processing in real time, also while knowing where your guys are supposed to be. But does one get checked at the line? Does one have a harder time breaking free and getting separation on his route? It's amazing. And they all make it look pretty seamless. And the one that we've all seen, and it's not exclusive to any quarterback, every quarterback has done this. And I love the camera angles that we get nowadays where you might be behind the quarterback or low field angle, and someone will throw one literally to the other team. I mean, right to them, not while being hit, but just like an over-the-middle pass, and maybe there's just so much congestion, and when they throw it, you go, what were you looking at? And it's one of those things where they obviously just didn't see him. You go, how could you not see him? I saw him. Well, okay. You saw him from your couch. You saw him from the stands. You're not in that same position of surveying, real-time, pass rush, a guy you're really worried about from clocking you on the right side, and maybe a receiver slipped, a running back, whatever it might be. It's an amazing skill that these quarterbacks have. And I think when we've talked to Barros in the past, Greg Papa in the past, the processing and the decision-making of Brock Purdy is one of his strengths. I mean, it truly is. So when he's throwing a tipped interception or something like that in practice, you take note, you evaluate it, and then you move on. Some notes here from that article, too, from Matt Barros. The red zone wasn't a problem for Purdy last season. He completed 60% of his passes, threw 1 interception, ran 2 touchdowns, and threw for 11 touchdowns. So wasn't really a concern last year at all. All right, let's see what Lambert has to say. Lambert, welcome to the show. How are you?
Fine.
What's on your mind?
I'm a tremendous 49ers fan. I go back a long way.
Okay.
And one thing I noticed about the media, they never did really highlight what George Kittle did not do in that Super Bowl, that overtime loss. As a 49er fan, if you want an example of a great tight end performer, you have to go back to Brent Jones. Now, some of you may not remember him. You may do. But he was a big-time performer in the Super Bowl, and he was dealing with Jerry Rice and John Taylor. I don't think that's been analyzed enough. George Kittle had 2 receptions for 4 yards in an overtime loss. That's unacceptable, and that should be brought more to light than about Purdy or Ayuk or Trent Williams. That was a terrible performance, and I believe that cost them the Super Bowl, because had he done something, they may never have gotten to overtime.
Yeah, do you put that, Lambert, more on Kittle himself, more on Purdy, more on Kyle Shanahan, the offense, or is that, like I said, on Kittle?
No. It's on the player. You never heard Montana say, well, it was on this. No, you have to get it done. That's why they won 4 Super Bowls. And Joe Montana, he didn't have 1 interception in 4 Super Bowls. That's getting it done. And it was the whole team that got it done. But if you look at Kelsey, he didn't hardly have any receptions or yards in the first half, and he picked it up in the second half, and he was one of the differences that won that thing. You have to perform under pressure, and for some reason the media is giving George Kittle a pass, and I'm not, because I'm a big 49er fan, and I guarantee you Brent Jones would have had more than 2 catches and 4 yards in an overtime Super Bowl.
All right, Lambert, thank you. And the interesting thing, I think the Niners have, and appreciate your call and your take on that. I think the Niners have that, I would say, luxury, but maybe problem. It depends on how you view it. When you lose the Super Bowl, it's now going to be deemed as a problem. I'm looking back now at the box score and kind of refreshing some of my memories of that game. So the ball was spread around quite a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people caught a pass for the 49ers. And Kittle, 2 targets, caught both of them, 4 yards. 3 targets. So 1 other attempt, 4 yards. That's not enough in my mind for George Kittle. What's interesting is, 11 targets towards Deebo Samuel. He had 3 catches. And maybe there's some drops, some bad throws by Purdy, whatever the case may be. But you also have to do your own part as an offense to see what kind of game plan you could do to skew things in your favor. And when you've got that many skilled people, there's days where Kittle, I think he had the 3 touchdown day, maybe last year, was that against Arizona? And maybe Deebo and Ayuk were more quiet. Days where McCaffrey's the featured player. He kills it in receiving and rushing, and some of the receivers are quiet. Then it's an Ayuk and Deebo day or a Kittle. I mean, they've got a lot of different talent. It's tough to have everybody go off. But I'm not absolving guilt here from George Kittle in a 2-catch, 4-yard day. The Niners had their chances in so many different ways to win that game, and they didn't. I felt like early on they should have had a bigger lead than they did. I remember that being a factor, trying to get yourself back into the moment of the different plays. Having the lead at 16-13 early in the fourth quarter wasn't big enough. Remember, they missed an extra point there. How different is the game? That I do remember now. Now I'm trying to backtrack of this game when they missed that extra point. If it's 17-13, I know the Chiefs scored a couple times, but the time, looking back on it now with 5:46 to go, the Chiefs line up for a 24-yard field goal to tie the game. Would they have kicked that to be down 1? I don't know. We won't know because they weren't in that situation, but maybe they think, hey, the Niners have moved the ball enough. We may not get the ball again. Let's be a little bit more aggressive and go for it. Would that have played out better for them, played out worse? Instead, they tie the game. Now the Niners go down the other way in a tie game and opt to kick a field goal. Were they in a situation where a long one that Moody makes, would they have been in a different spot if they're now down 4 or up 1? I mean, you just don't know. And then, of course, they gave up the field goal with just 3 seconds left, made the first field goal in overtime, gave up the touchdown at the close of overtime. It was a great game. It was a classic game. It was a painful loss all the way through, but interesting take there, Lambert, on that fact. But I think that's going to happen a lot. I'm just going to pick a random game from last year without any real intel of anything from Chris, I'll have you'll help me in this. Pick a number between 1 and 18.
5.
Okay, I'm going to go to week 5. Okay. Dallas. They won 42-10. They clobbered Dallas. They were great. But I'm going to look at the box score. Jordan Mason was the leading rusher over McCaffrey. Receivers, Kittle had 3 for 67. That's the game he had 3 TDs. So Ayuk was 4 for 58. Deebo 3 for 55. Christian McCaffrey 2 for. I mean, they just have the ability to spread the wealth, to have different people spotlight and have big days. That was George Kittle's big day. So we shall see how it goes. But again, I like their roster. I like their makeup, and I'm not worried about Purdy's camp interceptions in the slightest. All right, break time for us. Still to come, what to watch and this day in sports history. But up next, we'll kind of reset of today's top stories, baseball's trade deadline, an Olympic update, all that and more coming up on Sacktown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Diego.
Hi, Diego. It's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special. It really inspired me.
That's great. Doubling the cashback you've earned at the end of your first year is what we do.
Well, I'm doubling everything now. Double dating, double dipping, double feature, double header, double whammy. Basically double or nothing.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
As a roofer, I'm always on the go. So I need to be able to get things done from anywhere. That's why I partnered with Beacon. With their unique Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips 24/7. I rely on Beacon because I never stop building, and neither do they. Now through September 15th, purchase GAF through Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Go to BECN.com or download the Beacon Pro Plus app today. Beacon, always building.
Waking you up with the best in local sports.
Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
On Sacktown Sports.
That's it. We are back. Jason Ross, Chris Laud, taking you till 10 o'clock. Styles and Watkins will be in a little bit. We'll crosstalk, see what's coming up on their show today from 10 to 2, and we'll quiz them on the birthdays of today from celebrities out there, brought to you by our friends at Crumble Cookies. So some of the top stories of today, we're keeping our eye on the Major League Baseball trade deadline as movement should be happening. Some more movement today. There's been quite a things that have happened. I don't know that there's been an earth-shattering deal to date, but doesn't mean that stuff won't be going down this afternoon. And if you're the Giants, again, I would keep my eye on whether or not they deal Blake Snell. We talked to Steve Berman earlier in the show, Bay Area sports guy, writes for The Athletic. If you miss any part of any show, you can go back and watch, certainly on our YouTube. All that's archived, but also on our podcast page at sacktownsports.com. A lot of great material over there, so check out all that stuff we have between articles and posts and different things that you can watch and check out and read about. But you can listen to any part of the show. You want to go back and hear that interview, his thought on Farhan Zahidi's job security, to the move they did make, moving on from Jorge Soler, and to what else might be done. That's there and more. Again, any part of the show is all podcasted for you. So the Giants, it's kind of a wait-and-see approach. Again, I think what they've done so far was a smaller move. The fact that the Braves are willing to pick up the rest of the contract from Soler makes it financially nice for the Giants. But I think even that move doesn't scream they're selling. It also doesn't scream they're buying in this case. I think they can kind of play both sides, which I don't love, but it will keep them in contention. They're right here, right now, in a spot where they'll have every opportunity to do some damage in the National League race. They've got a favorable series coming up for a while here between teams that are below 500. I think it was 6 of the next 7 are against teams below 500. And starting tonight with the Battle of the Bay, they are hosting the A's. And if you're the Giants and you've won 4 straight and you're chasing teams like Arizona and San Diego and the Mets and the Cubs and so on and so forth, everybody that's kind of around them, you want to do your best to get through this series, not let the A's do some damage to you, and see if you can get to 500 and just keep your quest going. But I think they got to talk to everybody today about Blake Snell. I think there's a lot of teams that would love another quality pitcher like that, a guy that's had postseason experience, a guy that traditionally has been better at the back end of the season, that is coming off his best outing as a Giant, but best outing as a pitcher, one of his best performances ever. I mean, he was absolutely dominant over the weekend. And so, at least he's in a better spot here lately. So I think the Giants need to explore all of those potential options. As far as some other things to keep our eye on today, it is the Olympics. And day 4 is going on. Coco Gauff was in a spot where she was very frustrated with the officials there in her match. She ultimately lost earlier today. Tomorrow, we have to wait for USA men's basketball, round 2, when they get South Sudan, who put a scare in them the last time, even though I saw today, I think it's a 30-point favorite for LeBron and company and Team USA. But I would say today's Olympic headline would be Simone Biles and women's gymnastics. They've got the all-around and some individual events, and Simone Biles goes for gold in the gymnastics team final. And so she will be an important part of that. Her historical run at the Olympics has been one of the most decorated athletes we've seen. I know she had some controversy in the last Olympics where she ultimately dropped out. But to watch her, and really one of the parallels I like to talk about is
The bars.
What's that?
The bars.
Yeah, the bars. Is how other competitors in the same sport refer to her, and they're all in awe. Like when you are clearly the best, and you're also world class, when other people like just marvel at you, it's that to me is impressive.
What do you think is bigger, that from the same sport or like superstars from other sports?
I think it's the same to me. I mean, it's really cool. I mean, the ones that are in the same sport at least get it. But I think the people in other sports that may even have that same kind of, like, I bet LeBron has like this sense of awe of Simone Biles, probably vice versa. And
like
I think
when
that's
you can
awesome.
feel someone's drive
Yeah.
that you have that like not normal people have.
Yeah, and I think only the people that are the best of the best can understand that. Like, for us as fans or media members, let's take more of a common everyday sport. Like if a member of the Sacramento Kings is the 12th man, right? And they come in and everybody's cheering for them to score because, hey, let's give him an opportunity. I mean, this is a world-class athlete. They happen to be 12th on this team. But when you're talking about percentages of basketball players, you're talking about the less than 1%ers. And so when you've got someone like Simone Biles, who, like Michael Phelps, like Carl Lewis, like other historically significant American Olympians, they're just trying to add to their legacy. So there's an incredible amount of pressure. I'm sure she has her own goals, but it's also the goals that have been put on, or the expectations that have been put on from the rest of the world, the rest of us, the rest of her competitors. And so anything less than a bunch of golds for her, I don't know that she would treat it as a failure, but some people might, which, I mean, think about living in that kind of reality where someone might actually say, oh, you came up short, or you failed, or you didn't achieve this, when the amount of things she's already achieved is just staggering and envious for others, right? So the Olympics, day 4, going on. Medal count, we gave you that a little bit earlier, in which the U.S. is leading in overall medals, but not in golds at this point. And they have more to get, hopefully, out there later today and in the days ahead. All right, break time for us. When we come back, we've got a few things of significance of what to watch today, and certainly what happened on this day in sports history. We'll go over that, a few more things before we get you to Crosstalk with Styles and Watkins, all as we continue here on Sacktown Sports.
De'Aaron Fox plays here.
Stolen by Fox. Breakaway coming up for De'Aaron. And a simple, casual spike with the left hand. The Kings lead by 3.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave inviting you to make the switch to electric this spring and save big with American Energy. Stay ahead of those spiking energy bills this summer with up to $9,000 in rebates on a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. American Energy is providing huge rebates from SMUD as well as spring specials by installing one of many incredibly efficient AC options available to you right now. Get rid of those fluctuating gas bills in the winter and switch to year-round all-electric with American Energy. Let them perform a free in-home energy efficiency analysis and see where they can help you save for the warmer months ahead. These guys are the best. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ from the Better Business Bureau. Learn more by calling 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
If you look older than you really are, then thinning hair. But what if you could not only increase your hair count, but promote new hair growth without surgery, without drugs with potential side effects, and without a prescription from your doctor? Well, now you can, thanks to a breakthrough new supplement called Hair Grow, provided by New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Europe. Hair Grow is now available in the U.S. Only Hair Grow contains tocogaya, a powerful antioxidant that has received a U.S. patent. Multiple clinical studies show Hair Grow is safe and effective in promoting new hair growth. In one study, 95% of the patients using Hair Grow saw increased hair count. Don't lose more time and more hair. Try Hair Grow today to feel and look your best. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS. Look younger and feel more confident with Hair Grow by New Nordic at NewNordicUSA.com or in stores at your local CVS.
I would end the day with sore feet, sore legs. The drugstore inserts that I was purchasing were really not very useful at all. I walked into the Good Feet store and the guy kind of grinned at me and said, I hear that a lot. I was living with chronic pain before going to the Good Feet store. Now I don't really have that problem. I'm able to do the things that I expect to be able to do, even at my advanced age. I feel pretty good about what's going on.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
The only place in the morning to get your sports fix.
Live and local.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Thanks again to all of you checking in on the show today. Those of you on our YouTube and the chat, they have their own chats going on all along. That's always a pretty consistent thing going on amongst our YouTubers, our regulars on the chat line over there, and also on the text line. If you'd like to chime in, feel free. A couple people questioning our guy Lambert that called earlier that was questioning George Kittle. Hey, Lambert, watch the Netflix show Receiver. Kittle's whole left arm was numb towards the end of that game. He had to go get a cortisone shot during that game. Somebody please let this guy know. Don't ever blame Kittle again. Kittle was hurt. Bad take, Lambert. The whole team did not play well, including the defense. It's not one person's fault. I mean, it is as much of a team game as anything. I mean, you could have a couple people on point, and then of the 11 that are out there, someone let you down. And it's like, yeah, we had everybody in place, and then one person let them down. A couple more people on the YouTube saying that. From one is Kittle is brittle to Kittle got hurt in the Super Bowl. Watch the Receiver show. Yeah. So I wasn't faulting George Kittle. I was pointing out that I think there are going to be games where the perception is maybe someone didn't have a good game based on the amount of talent they already have. It's hard to feed all of the people and leave the game going, man, everybody was great. That's like when I try to do when we're evaluating the Kings in the post-game show. It's like, the longer the list of players that we say play well, the better chance they had to win. But it's rare to go, man, Sabonis, Fox, Murray, last year Barnes, Herter, Monk, everybody was amazing. Well, then they won. But it's like, hey, they did all this and Fox wasn't good.
Yeah, they won, and most likely, if that were the case, they scored 140 points.
Right. Set a record for most made threes, but it's like, man, they did this, and the bench didn't score at all. Yeah, because the starters were all amazing. I mean, you're just not going to have a game where in the NBA, if you have played 10 guys, where 10 players were great. A lot of them are good. Maybe the list, if it's 4 to 6, you have a really good chance to win. And sometimes if it's your best 2 players and they were great, you still have a chance to win. But you know it. You've watched them play enough where you go, man, they were so good, but this player didn't do well or this player didn't do well. That's the kind of thing that happens. Like Mark says, you can't feed everyone. So true. So true. But that's why scheme and design and play calling, you try to feature your best chances to feed everyone, right? And if you can do that, makes you tough to beat. Also makes you tough to guard against. What to watch today? Well, the Olympics. if it's not your thing, I guess that's fine, but it's everywhere. I mean, I'm not going to apologize for my fandom of the Olympics. Been a big fan. I said this before, I'll say it again. Went to them in 1984. It's been the best sporting events I ever saw. I was a kid, but it was just awesome. You know, when you're a kid and your parents take you somewhere, I hope if your kid's out there now, you appreciate that because, you know, you're probably wondering, how long is it going to take us to get there? How far is the walk? Can we park closer? Like things you just do as a kid that now it's like, I'm taking you to an event.
That's
like,
not what I'm thinking. Like, how expensive are tickets now for?
Well,
kids?
now I would think that, but I never thought of that as a kid. Now I go, how did we get tickets for that? How much did that cost the family? What was my dad paying for these tickets? And,
Dad, how much were you taking home?
Yeah.
After taxes.
Yes, exactly. Where now I appreciate it and was so thankful for the opportunity to go. I keep telling Chris, I want to go to the Olympics in 2028. That's my thought. That's my goal. I know I can do it, I guess, but I also will also be that person going, wait, rugby tickets cost what? What's it going to cost to get in gymnastics?
I don't even want to know what World Cup tickets are going to go for.
Yeah. Okay. Can I see enough of the event from the top row? So, but I hope people appreciate that. And I've always just loved the Olympics. I've appreciated. I love the concept of it. It can get political. It can get between countries. I mean, I try to stay away from that, but I don't want to be naive to that. But like right now I'm trying to watch the greatness of athletes like Simone Biles. Watching her routine, watching her on the vault, the floor, the beam, whatever it might be. Swimmers at their best, just everybody. I just love it. Track athletes. I've been to not many. I've been to a good amount of track and field events. I love track, just like from long distance races to hurdles to speed, high jump, long jump. It's just, I don't know. I think it's a great watch. I really do. And I've always been a fan of that. So Olympics today, continue to watch that. Team USA on the women's side going for gymnastics gold. That will be something to watch. Also, something to watch today will be the Battle of the Bay, A's versus Giants in San Francisco. Will there be any moves made by the Giants between now and then besides the one they've already made? That is something to watch and certainly to follow the Major League Baseball trade deadline. On this day in sports history, July 30th, 1976, then named Bruce Jenner, now Caitlin, we know that, won the gold medal in the decathlon. I don't remember that. I do remember I've seen pictures and video of that, but kind of to achieve that, I mean, that would be the other one. Chris, we talk about, if Sacktown Sports had our, what events could we compete in? Could you even imagine doing the decathlon?
That's wild.
I mean, 10 different track events that some of them you're going to be better at, but you have to be pretty good at all of them.
What's weird, like it feels like that should be pushed more. The last time I remember talking about that for the United States was
Dan and Dave.
Yeah, who did terrible.
Yeah, one of them didn't make.
One didn't make it,
and then I don't think the other one did. The other one medal when they were actually there.
Did they?
It wasn't the hype that it got. Now again, back to okay, they didn't win, but they were amazing. But I don't know that it got the hype. The results didn't benefit the hype that they were planning. Reebok had that whole big plan, and they can only control so much in that. So. That was back on July 30th, 1976. How about this should probably get more attention than I think it did at the time, but I'm trying to remember how much of this I recollect. I'd be curious your memory on this, Chris. July 30th, 1994, Michael Jordan hit a home run against the Carolina Mudcats, his first home run of his minor league career. I remember Jordan going to baseball. I remember a lot of that, but it feels like, that's a really amazing deal that he did, and he was somewhat successful. Some go, he was terrible. He wasn't terrible, but
I remember just starting to get into Michael Jordan, and then him going to baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So it almost felt like I was cheated.
Yeah, because you didn't see his greatness before. You saw it after when he came back to basketball.
Which is the other weird thing about Jordan is, and I've to like Nick and Rami, when they were here, there's like, wait, what are you talking about? I said how I watch more Bulls games than Kings games because there are more Bulls games on TV than
WGN,
Kings games.
Right?
And like, wait, what? How is that possible?
Yeah, because all the games weren't on TV for the Kings. There was limited packages, and then certainly WGN. Yeah, for whatever reason, we got them all.
Yeah.
All of them.
Like, I still remember like the lame animation bowl going through Chicago for their warm-ups.
Yep. And I think that's for a lot of us. Like a lot of us ended up watching more Cubs games and Braves games than maybe for here, Giants and A's. And when I was growing up in Southern California, it was like Dodgers and Angels. Like, no, I always saw the Cubs and Braves.
I'd be furious when Braves games came on.
Why?
Because I'm like, oh, so we're only getting one Saved by the Bell because the Braves are playing? What is this?
Don't interrupt Screech. Can't lose on Mr. Belding.
I got your answer on Dave and Dan.
Yeah?
Dan and Dave.
I don't know which one didn't make it.
Despite a foot injury, I'm trying to think.
Wait,
which
Dan
one?
O'Brien or Dave O'Brien and Dan?
Oh, why don't they tell you their names? It just says O'Brien and Johnson, but it doesn't tell you which one is which. Okay, here we go. Dan O'Brien and Dave Johnson. So
right.
Dave Johnson, despite a foot injury, won bronze in Barcelona. He retired from competition shortly after the games. O'Brien went to win a gold medal at the 96 Olympics in Atlanta.
Oh, okay. Okay, good for him.
So like this is a dumb thing of like media of where you hear this and you remember, oh, that was a failure.
Yeah.
Is it really?
One of them won a gold.
One won a
later.
bronze with an injury, and the other won a gold medal.
Just not in the same one that they thought it would be down to them. Yeah. Wow. Also on this day, July 30th, 2017, I still think an underrated player, and he just made the Hall of Fame, Adrián Beltré recorded his 3,000th hit.
He was a beast.
He was. And I just never felt like people appreciated him in the real time when he was just accruing.
Do you think it
great
hurt
numbers.
him that he played in Seattle for a lot of his?
Maybe. I mean, but he was with the Dodgers. But yeah, a lot of Seattle and Rangers, I think, right?
Red Sox for a year.
Yeah, he bounced a little bit, but he was a good player. I mean, he's a really good player, and obviously now a Hall of Famer. So he didn't have to prove it, but he did prove that he was a great player. All right. One final break for us. When we come back, the guys will be in Styles and Watkins. We'll chat with them, see what's coming up on their show, and we'll hit them with some celebrity birthdays. That's coming up next.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SackdownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Styles and Watkins, and The Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SacktownSports.com.
Hey there, Jason Ross here, and let me tell you about something I think you should be prepared for just in case you're in a situation where you feel you need some assistance, some representation. This is not a spot you want to be in, but you also want to be prepared for if this is the case. So what might happen where you feel like you need representation? Well, auto accident, wrongful termination, maybe you have an expungement, something out there you want to be taken care of. You're not quite sure who can help you out and how they'll do it, how you could go through the process. Well, let someone else do it and help you with that. And that's the law offices of Jonathan Gonzalez. He's right here in town in Sacramento. And that's the important thing to me. You want someone that's one of us that's connected to the city, to this community, not one of those national brand law firms that you're like, yeah, I don't even know who I'm really getting to, who I'm talking to. Are they really out for my best interest? How about someone that's right here in downtown and doesn't just count you as one of the many clients that they just turn and burn through? He wants to represent himself and his company well, but also represent you. And so, like I said, you might be in a wrongful termination case. You might have an auto accident that you need some sort of representation. Well, here's where you go. You need to go to the law offices of Jonathan Gonzalez at sacklegaldefense.com, or you can call him at 916-304-9187. Again, that's the law offices of Jonathan Gonzalez at sacklegaldefense.com, 916-304-9187.
Celebrate Sacramento Rivercats baseball during our 25th anniversary season. Pick your favorite weekly promotion, giveaway game, or theme night, and join the fun at Sutter Health Park. Stick around post-game every Friday and Saturday night as we light up the sky with the brightest fireworks in town. For a full promotion schedule and to buy tickets, visit rivercats.com. We'll see you there.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Plati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Jason Mraz and the Super Band. Live. The mystical, magical, rhythmical, radical ride.
Friday, August 9th, the venue at Thunder Valley. Jason Mraz and the Super Band with special guest Molly Miller Trio. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Jason Mraz and the Super Band in concert. Pick up the new album, Mystical, Magical, Rhythmical, Radical Ride.
At Lowe's, save big every day. Right now, get a free pneumatic nailer when you buy a pallet of Metabo HPT nails. And there's more. Save 10% on select shingles when you buy in bulk. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
I spray and scrub, but the soap scum in my bathtub is still there.
I spray and scrub, but the burnt sauce on my stovetop sticks around.
Sprays can leave grime behind, but Mr. Clean Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser combines the scrubbing power of an eraser with the cleaning power of Dawn to melt away tough messes on contact.
Just wet, squeeze, and erase.
Stop spraying, start erasing, and clean with more magic than ever with Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Whitey here reminding you that not all gas grills are created equal. Bring out all the delicious flavors in your grilled meats with the amazing Napoleon Prestige and Prestige Pro line of outdoor cookers. My Napoleon Stainless Steel Pro Series gas grill has turned me into a grilling pro with features other grills cannot match. They're built different, built better, built to last. Made with premium stainless steel that boasts quality and a lifetime warranty. I may never want to cook indoors again. Napoleon grills and accessories are now available at your nearby Amy's, Ace Hardware in Sacramento, and now El Dorado.
It's time for the news of the day.
The latest headlines, the biggest stories, hard-hitting analysis.
Yeah, this is none of those things. And now, here's Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross.
What's that? No. Welcome in.
That beat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy birthday from all of us to you.
Hey. Did you say Monday?
I said birthday.
Oh, birthday. I said Monday. I know you had trouble with the days the other day, Chris. I don't know what happened there. I'm like, wait, did he just say it was Friday and it was Thursday? He was like, oh, I mean, it's Wednesday. I'm like, no, it's
It gets
Thursday.
really
You'll get
tough. It's all right. It's a good Thursday.
Math is hard.
Math is hard. I was listening to you guys yesterday, and at the end of the show, you got to where's Whitey on the Olympics?
Yeah, I don't know. It was
It just blew up the entire cross.
We've had some good cross talks. That wasn't
fun.
one of them.
Well, it was actually funny because the way you guys all played it out, it's like, oh, that just hit a ball. It's like,
Yeah.
Sure did.
wait, I just thought he would have had more.
Whitey's a sportsman, you know. I would
Yeah.
have thought he'd
Yeah.
just have I like him
I mean,
especially.
I love equequestrian. Oh,
Yeah.
didn't see that coming, but cool.
He,
I thought he was
he,
gonna
he
go very
almost
deep.
seemed angry.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, it's like,
anti-Olympics.
sorry, yeah,
Like,
my bad.
they-
Most globally viewed thing, and he's like, "Oh yeah, is that
It's
that
on.
thing that? Yeah.
but I
Oh
didn't
yeah, it's
really
just
watch
on
it.
Yeah.
I'm watching everything.
everything."
But I think the funniest part was that was his take right now.
Yes.
Right? If we're in the middle of Kings and we're firing
And
on
then
all
we're just a few
cylinders.
weeks away, and it's like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
But it's happening now.
This is all we got.
Yeah. Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I've really been watching it.
It's great.
What was it? I thought they said earlier. I know gymnastics are on. They're going to feature that, but I thought they said 3-on-3 or 3x3, whatever they're calling
Yeah.
it. I'm going to see how
But
Jimmer's
that
gonna-
was my rant yesterday on how confusing all of this is. I know there's a lot on,
Yeah.
but there's some on Peacock, there's some on NBC. Let me ask you a question. Because Chris was saying how Simone
It's on at 1:30.
Biles, she really she's cooking when she hits the platform.
Yeah.
What do you think she runs a 40 in?
Well, that's a good question.
I'd say 4.7.
Yeah,
I can see a 4.7.
she's got small legs.
She is very small.
I think
but she's
4.7.
fast.
I think 4.7
Flies.
feels good.
Yeah. What are
I
you
think
guys
so.
running it today? 7.4.
4.7.
Are you running 4.7?
I could. Well, with the injury, I'm probably more like a 4.9 now.
If I break 6, I'm thrilled. At this point, if I don't pull a hammy,
If I don't take a break somewhere along the way.
Yeah.
I'd probably do like a 5.5 or something.
I was thinking about doing a marathon.
Really?
Okay. I don't know how much I'd run it.
Are you an
but just-
endurance guy?
back in my day when I was doing my Spartan races, I would do
okay.
10Ks.
Okay.
Okay.
How about a triathlon?
No.
Yeah, that was fun. I did one. It was fun.
It's the swimming. And
Really?
the biking.
Everybody said,
I would have thought biking. Yeah, I can't see you biking.
I don't like to run. I mean,
Yeah,
you run in
I feel
sports.
that.
Like I've always done that. Like I felt like when I was playing basketball,
I can
baseball,
run all day. In
all day.
sports,
But then the second, like you're
No,
like
you
the
never
coach
got
is
the
like,
runner's
cannot
high.
run to the end of the
just, like,
street.
run
no.
the lap. Oh,
No,
You never got the runner's high?
No,
Not
I've never felt it once.
You get it past mile 2,
No.
or you don't.
What about the other 24 miles?
No,
of the
you-
marathon?
Come on.
You know, no one's swimming. And like to me, what I liked about it, and this was when I trained for one. I only did one. And it was fun. Was I actually think you help all the muscles. Like when you're just
Sure.
running, there's constant
Right.
stress on your legs
Mhm.
and everything. But it's like swimming, biking, kind of just
Yeah.
test out all
I
the
feel like I
muscles.
could bike for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew once I finished the swim, I was going to finish the race, which was my goal. But
Right.
the running, it's like, if I have to, I'll walk. Like,
In
I'm
high
gonna
school,
finish.
in high school, we would do 6 a.m. swim workouts.
Okay.
Oh,
And you never really realized how big those pools are.
Yes.
And they are like,
Yeah.
do it 2 laps.
Yeah.
You know, I can swim. And that,
Right.
oh, we're still going.
Yeah.
We gotta
That
go
was the
back.
thing when I did mine. So it was in Santa Cruz, and it was a half Ironman, right? So when you're swimming and you
Wow,
pick up
a half. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
you pick up your vision point, right? You're seeing
Right.
like, I see the pier,
Yeah.
the pier. Like, am I going anywhere?
That's what I'm
Like,
saying.
I mean, I'm like, okay, let me do like 20 strokes and not really think about it. I go, I still see the same person.
Right, right.
Is someone pulling on me? Like,
See,
what's happening?
The current.
you're
Yeah.
not selling it, Jason.
Okay. I want you to do it.
I
But you, a
know.
marathon? You choose a marathon?
Maybe a half.
Yeah.
Still a lot.
Yeah.
13 miles, 13.1.
I think I'll do a half next
Yeah.
year.
Okay. Give yourself some time.
Half a mile.
And then just run right
Do
to
the
the
Sacramento
studio.
Marathon.
When is that?
I don't think I knew they had.
Or not the what is it? The California International
Oh, that's
Marathon,
what
which
it
is
is,
right here in
You
yeah.
run
Sacramento.
across the causeway?
No, you don't go that far, but you're like
run downtown, I know.
downtown. It ends at the Capitol.
Yeah.
Run right by my house. We go out and cheer everybody on. I say, "There's Alan."
And then we'll go to River Cats.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There we go. That's a day right there.
You tell me what you want. I'll just have it on a platter
Yeah,
for you.
yeah.
And run by.
I might have to do that. What's it called?
It's the California International Marathon. It's in December, so I don't. You think you have enough time to do it this December, or do you want a full 2025?
Plenty of time.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
if Aaron Rodgers is back,
Right.
I mean, come on. What are you waiting on?
he was number 5 on my top QBs.
Oh, still there. How about you? Did you have him up there?
He was 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on the list, but barely.
Yeah.
What's coming up on the show today?
A lot of
A lot of good
articles
stuff.
came out yesterday. The Tim Bontemps article about whether or not bringing in DeRozan will affect Keegan Murray's runway, and a Bleacher Report blockbuster trade. And no one can get mad at me for bringing up that team in the Bay Area because it wasn't me. It was Bleacher Report.
It's a
And
3-teamer.
Chris's favorite player on the Warriors besides young Wardell gets dealt to the Kings. We'll tell you who that
the
is.
Kings are involved in this.
Kings are involved.
3-team deal.
Looking forward to this.
But the Warriors do get better. So
Do the Kings get better without
the-
teasing
That's
it?
the question.
depends.
That's
Okay.
the question.
it depends. That's
If it's
at
making
11.
you think, then it's like, I'm not sure.
That's right. That's at 11. Don't miss it.
Okay. Look forward to
And,
that.
and we have some fun with the Niners.
Yeah. And it may be a big baseball trade. Who knows?
Maybe.
There's
get
been
me
a lot of
started.
trades.
If there
but
is,
nothing
you definitely
see
want to
my
tune in.
video?
Yeah, I was like, Alan's
Yes,
not
I
going to
did.
be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not happy.
Well, I think, and they are straddling that fence. It's
Yeah.
like, we're
amazing.
selling. No, we're buying. No,
Yeah.
what are we doing?
We're dumping. For
kind
what?
of.
Not sure.
Not
Yeah.
sure.
What's
Yeah.
the plan? No.
Mm-mm.
Flexibility.
Keep a job. Maybe not.
Yeah.
No.
And then I have these uppity Giants fans. Real fans know what Farhan's doing.
No,
They're allowing Marco Luciano to get at bat.
they could have done that already.
I just love how everybody is saying, and I was just making fun of Soler power and how there wasn't very much, even though he was heating up. But I do love how if you are a Giants homer, now it's what a great job getting off of that contract. Talking about Soler as if you were stuck with him. You
Right.
just signed him.
Exactly.
You
Luckily, the
just
Braves are
signed him.
paying him now for you.
Yeah.
All right, so that's all coming up. Let's get you guys ready for that with celebrity birthdays. It's brought to you by our friends at Crumble Cookies.
Auto-tune there.
That was good, though. I liked it.
Somehow Japan and France are tied with 47 seconds to go in basketball. Wemby, Gobert, doesn't matter. Yuto Watanabe.
Yes.
All day.
I
Stop
told you.
All
That
they
was
have-
my guy.
All they have is big guys for France.
Did you see the picture of the 5'4" guy guarding Wemby?
No.
Yeah, 5'4" versus
Guy from
7'4".
Japan? Yeah, I've seen him play, but I didn't know he was guarding him. That's funny. All right, Crumble Cookies brings you our celebrity birthdays, guys. Happy birthday on this July 30th to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's a tough one. I'll say he's put a 70 on the board.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's either about to break the sevens or he's already there. I'm gonna say 69.
72.
Nice.
Christopher Lott is closest, 77.
Whoa!
Yeah,
Woo.
for Arnold.
Yeah, I can't say I'm surprised.
Happy birthday to Terry Crews.
This one I think we'll be surprised by.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
In which
Yes,
way?
like I think he's older than you think.
But
Because he's
that
in
body
such
is
good shape.
chiseled.
Yeah, I think he's in such good shape that it's a distraction. I'll say he's 50. Say 56. Not that that's like super old, but just a little.
54.
You go with my first thought, 57.
Okay. We have an exact answer, and it goes to Chris Watkins, 56
Wow.
on the nose. Happy birthday to Lisa Kudrow.
Oh, that's
Friends?
Friends? Yeah.
I don't know what her character was. Phoebe, maybe?
Phoebe, I think.
I didn't watch the show, but
Oh, yeah, pretend. You don't know, Jason.
I don't.
Oh, my. Is that the one with Joey? And
Wrong, Joey.
Okay.
See, you didn't watch the show.
50.
50?
I'll say 62.
Whoa. 54.
Chris Watkins is closest, 61.
Whoa.
What?
Whoa.
Oh, my God.
Happy birthday to Vivica Fox.
Whoa.
Any relation to Vivica A. Fox?
No, relation to De'Aaron.
Gross.
66.
Wow.
Whoa. 60.
58.
We have a correct answer. Chris Watkins, 60. Whoa. You're on fire a bit today. How about we test that with Lawrence Fishburne?
I was hoping Thunderberg. Lawrence Fishburne.
The Matrix. The Matrix just had its anniversary.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's 25 years or something.
Wow.
John Wick 2,
Yeah,
3, and 4.
yeah.
Or John Wick
Red
3
pill,
and
blue
4.
pill.
Yeah.
Right?
Green eggs and ham.
Oh, hello.
Let's see here. Lawrence Fishburne, 71.
73.
67.
I think that's probably.
Chris Verlotta's closest, 63.
Wow.
Sorry, Lawrence.
Sorry, Lawrence.
Very unfamiliar with
Chris Mullen.
Oh, Mully. Traitor.
Kid went to my high school.
He did?
His kid, yeah.
Whoa.
Ah.
Don't feel great about Mullen's King tenure. What didn't go swimmingly.
Whoa.
Say Mully's 67.
Whoa. 64.
63.
How long has he had that hair?
The whole time. All 61 years.
There we
NBA
go.
Jam.
Yeah, right.
All right, that's it for us. Happy
you didn't tell us
birthday.
the answer.
What's that?
61.
61.
Oh, 61.
Oh,
yeah.
real quick.
Yeah.
Dave
Very
texts
quick.
me,
Oh, yeah.
and he
Whoa.
is supposed to be getting Chris, Nate, and myself some swag. So we'll see. He literally called me,
Yeah.
said I had to get the sizes that we already told him.
Yes,
and then
we did
I
already.
had to text
Well,
him.
he'll probably be in your YouTube chat as well.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
yeah.
He was in there earlier today as well. But Styles and Watkins coming your way next here in Sacktown Sports.
What's the missing piece for the 49ers?
Which names will they add to